Futures flat to start here this morning as we get going on a busy earnings morning, mostly to the downside, unfortunately, including Palantir on a disappointing forecast for PLTR coming off quite significantly in the pre-market this morning. Same story for Disney, downside revenue missing expectations here for DIS this morning under pressure. There are a few heading higher, including RIVN. We'll touch on why possibly an Apple tie-in for RIVN this morning. Good morning, Adara. It's going to be an interesting one here with you and I were just touching on the fact that we have a couple of Fed speakers coming up today, including the ever-exciting Neil Kashkari later on.
Yes, I was saying to you off camera, I would say Neil Kashkari certainly knows how to move a market. The last couple times he has spoken, the market has made some moves, and usually I've noticed he's a bit later in the day. Today he's at 11:30. So this could be very interesting in a day that's already rocked with a lot of earnings reports. Yeah,
Rivian, as I mentioned, on a possible Apple tie-in to the upside here. Remember, they report after the bell tonight, but up significantly here, 7%. Remember, Apple said we're passing on EVs, but there's a possibility that maybe we do something with Rivian now. So we'll see if they say anything after the close tonight in their earnings report. We have the Apple event to deal with as well for iPad. So Rivian, decent amount of volume behind this move so far this morning. Apple is up as well versus what happened yesterday, ever so slightly here, positive to the tune of about 0.9%. Tesla, notably, downside here this morning. We'll touch on why coming up as well. So lots moving around as far as the major ones are concerned. There was a positive note for NVDA. After the close yesterday, we did get a bit of a move, but downside this morning. Stanley Druckenmiller coming out saying he has sold a portion of their holdings for NVIDIA, so we'll see how that, as we were saying yesterday, NVIDIA still leading as far as semiconductors are concerned, so we'll see how that moves the group today.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting one, especially because I saw they were trading initially lower NVIDIA after we had that Apple chip related headline. So I do not think the Stanley Druckenmiller comments this morning helped necessarily.
Yeah, it's 1%. It's had a monster move here in the past 3 days. So trying to bounce right now for NVIDIA. These so strong to start the week as well. Good morning, guys.
And I guess Mr. Druckenmiller, when you own that much NVIDIA, like it was over 15% of his portfolio. So, sell 1% makes a little bit of sense. I'm a little bit wary of this Rivian. So a rumor comes out that Rivian's partnering with Apple, potentially.
Right, yeah.
The day before their earnings. It's like, I don't know, man. Like, how many times have we heard these? And, okay, look, I'm not saying it's not true. If it is true, obviously that's going to be, like, that's Rivian news more than it's going to be Apple news. I think that makes obvious sense there. But if you reported, you're essentially down, regardless of how the numbers really went. Overall, I don't really see anybody that reported that's up. And if you've got a rumor going, then you're to the upside. So welcome to Tuesday. It's going to be a fun one. Mr. Kashkari is going to speak and all that good stuff. But Palantir might open up SSR. Datadog's going to open up probably going to open up SSR. Disney is going to be in play as well. Private equity firms circle Peloton for potential buyout. Well, when you get it at pennies on the dollar, I guess Peloton's going to be up on that news as well. Yeah, there's a lot to circle around to. And I still like NVIDIA. We'll talk about some Tesla as well. BYD and NIO in a bit of a partnership. That's an actual partnership, BYD and NIO, which I think puts some more pressure on Tesla, which had some disappointing China numbers. But Peloton up 23% on that note.
Yeah, there it goes.
Yeah, there it goes. It's got a decent short float. This could be a good one.
Look at that bottom there. That was, wow. Oh, man. That could have been a huge missed opportunity. I mean, $3. I mean, that was, yeah, probably well worth the risk there. Went down to 268, I guess, on earnings. All right. Yeah, so, I mean, we'll have to address the elephant in the room. I mean, Palantir down 11% on everything wicked except for a slight under on the guide. For me, we're just back to where we were 3 days ago. We have to keep that in perspective. Obviously, we would have liked to get that 27 print. I mean, if you're sitting there yesterday when the numbers first came out, yeah, well, it did. I mean, we were sitting here live on the recap show, and we had Michael Noss. We talked all about this move. We talked all about the different levels. we continue to like it down here, man. 21, 21.50. I mean, all this is letting us do, like I said, is if you missed Palantir, all they talked about was the future and how bright it was. So coming back into 21, 21.50, I feel like this is a really great opportunity to pick this name up. Now, whether or not it sells off here into today because of expected moves higher, we went up 25%. And if you take 27 in consideration, almost 30% there in 2 weeks. Nice pullback in for Palantir. Alex Karp was talking all about, the uncertainty in this world, and unfortunately, how negative everything's been with China, Russia, and then now obviously with Israel and Palestine and everything, in U.S. elections. And just that data security is going to be on everyone's mind, and analyzing all these numbers and putting things together. They have all those boot camps. They can now put together a product in a day or two for you when that was taking months before. AI is a thing, and I think Palantir continues to
defense contracts as well.
thing as well. Yeah, their largest customer is U.S. government.
Yeah, and that's sort of the thing. Like we talk about Boeing all the time. Boeing doesn't even get credit. Like right now, the market doesn't seem to care about the defense side of their business, but. Like it or not, that's going to print some money, obviously. Look, at the end of the day, you got to be able to trade the price action. So, you can look at a report and say, okay, even Disney, we'll talk about Disney today. I didn't see, there was a slight miss on revenue, but then a lot of positives from it. But sometimes a stock, it's just a matter of where it's coming from, more than where the market tends to read the report. And if you had a great rally and they can nitpick it a little bit, and you've had a little bit of a pullback, then people might take some profit. Like when a stock goes up 50%, and that's only happened in less than a year, then sometimes there's profit taking going into it. And I think very similar looking charts for almost all of these names that it didn't look that bad, but are down after the report, well, they were all kind of pulling back from highs for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, it really wasn't, as you were mentioning, Neil, it really wasn't that big of a miss as far as revenue for Disney. So we'll see if that can bounce here. Another one moving in the pre-market here, 2.5% for Instacart on this Uber headline. Uber and Instacart teaming up on a partnership. So Uber going to deliver for Instacart. It'll be, I mean, Uber itself wasn't really moving on this. Remember, we get earnings from Uber this week as well, still kind of flat as far as Uber is concerned, but nice pop initially anyways for Cart. It's come back since.
Yeah, the initial reaction in Instacart there was pretty steep. This came out right after 8 a.m., so we did have that move up afterwards. From what I was reading on this, it looks like they're going to be having a combination of restaurants available in Uber Eats and also some of its grocery stores available to Instacart customers. So not at all a bad look for Cart. An interesting timing for Uber, reporting earnings tomorrow before the open.
Yeah, one of those stocks we paid attention to, around the time when it debuted, but really got away from it, guys, all the way back to, I guess it was the end of last year. This thing bottomed out or started to. It's made a nice move, though, back to almost highs here on this.
Yeah, you let some of these IPOs settle down, and you got to give credit where credit is due, Instacart. It's a great looking chart. I think the issue, you run into some resistance in here. The volume's not great for a day trade, so I'm not going to tell you this is an obvious trade. 90,000 shares in volume. Yeah, that's like a single, I saw one guy get filled on RIVN in a single print for 160,000 shares when we sat down, when we started the show just 10 minutes ago. So it's not going to have enough volume for a big day trade, but this has been a good looking stock, and there's pretty much no question about it. A lot of things have been pulling back off the 50 period. I think that's what's worth watching here in Instacart. Obviously, we're a little more interested typically in Uber, and last night, last night in the afternoon show, I was saying, hey, had this wick been up to actually 74, this is just a dark pool wick, I would have thought that Uber was a fade off the 50 period moving average. We talked about Tesla with the robo-taxi and that putting some pressure on Uber. It's trying to put in a bit of a lower high. Until the report comes out, anything can happen, but pre-report, I'll look at that 50 period and think that's a bit of a fade. Didn't really get that close yesterday, but it's in the radar now for Uber. Not sure this story is going to move the needle too much for volatility. That said, it's at $2.50 away from that level. I don't know if we can go 3% to get there today. Oh, not on that story.
Uber up today. Uber up today with the market down is nice. Yeah, no volume at all for Instacart. You know, a nice little smiley face back to the upside. Now holding out $36 for the 50-period moving average. I think it works. If you like it, I don't know. I'm not too interested in it. For me, Reddit though, coming through with earnings. I believe. Let me see here for a second here. RDDT. There it is. It's tonight. Yeah, so tonight here for Reddit. This is a little bit more of an interesting play for me as we've looped up here and now trying to take out $50. This is going to be on mine. We're going to have the recap show tonight, but this is going to be a big trade, I feel like, through 50. So, you know, we didn't really get any movement yesterday. Nice little climb back up to the upside. I like Reddit here out of all of that. Whenever I think about Birkenstock and Instacart and all that, I just think Reddit can go. I think it's going to get a lot of juice into tonight. So that's the earnings report that I'm interested here to see. And I think there's a few other big names, but for tonight, Reddit's on my mind. So we're going to be looking at the $50 mark here today, see if there's any action, maybe a 45 bid or so down here for Reddit.
All right, a few other things of note here. Yeah, another one coming up tonight, Shopify. Big day yesterday for Shopify. There was a couple of analysts coming out with expectations as far as earnings go this morning. Downside a little bit here, but 2-3 days in a row here, Shopify is having a decent move going into this report tonight.
Yeah, they had a really interesting, I know a lot of catalysts around this name going back to Black Friday. So that was the previous quarter. It'd been interesting to see what they did this quarter without the help of those Black Friday related sales. Generally though, I've seen some positive analyst notes on it as late. So it'll be interesting to see what we get from Shop, Canadian company here.
Another one as well, just popping up in front of me here this morning. This was pre-market actually. Global Foundries reporting here in the pre-market as well, up decently, 51.70. It looks like 52. Decent level here for GFS on earnings.
Yeah, it's just another, probably a not trading stock, but it's boringly curling, I suppose is the best way to think about it. Like the downward trend is so clean on this stock. Like you look at these channels, lower lows, lower highs, 50 period cleaned out. Like I like Global Foundries in terms of the diversification of where that industry is going. Seems almost inevitable. But at the same time, like you want something that is clearly showing you that it's got a turn and got some juice to go to it. Like even if it's going to break, the range on this has been so tight. Like you're looking at $60, $61, $62. Looks pretty reasonable. That's $10 away. It's already gone 7 off the bottoms. I think that's going to be a bit of a sleeper. But there's some nice reports after market. I mean, it's not just Shopify. We talked about RIVN already. You already mentioned Reddit there, Sean. I mean, Upstart is another one that's going to report. We always talk about short float, 35% short float on Upstart. Double bottom on the daily chart off the $20 level, just clear the 50-period moving average. And obviously the report has to come out good, but this has some squeeze potential here. Maybe it does so like going into the earnings print. We've seen that run before, but this one's going to be all over my radar. 35% short. Yeah, I think that one has a decent shot to squeeze for us in the afternoon.
Yeah, look, we wrote down Shopify a couple times down here at $70. So I hope some of you were looking at those levels and really liked it because it's 10% up. So Shopify's up 10% in a week, a little bit less than that. I've liked this stock. Remember, I was fumbling for the point of sale reference last time. So that's how much we've liked this stock. We've had it listed down here, $70 numerous times for the long. And we even talked about this last week. I think it was with Danielle, maybe on Thursday on the recap show, when I told her a name that I was looking at was Shopify moving into earnings next week and how nice it was off that bottom and now taking the 50 period yesterday and starting to go higher and higher. So I mean, I really like Shopify on any kind of pullbacks into $76 potentially. You could get a little lower today into 75 ahead of earnings. In case there is some money being taken off, in case you get that Palantir move back a little bit. But into this, 74, 75 bucks, I think this is a buy here. Again, today, I really like Shopify. I've been liking this for quite a while now. Well, not quite a while, but I guess a month or a couple weeks since this $70 was trying to hold. So we like Shopify down there. Continue long is my idea, maybe 75. We'll have a look at Shopify markets now up. Well, the ES is up or the NASDAQ? Yeah, so the ES right now
slight.
up 0.1, starting to go, and then the NASDAQ right here 0.8 down still. So almost going green there, still holding above 18, trying to get 18.2 right now on the NQ. So let's see. Looks like the market wants to battle back a little bit today. I don't really see too many catalysts, period, really. A couple interesting stories. I'm not sure. Today is definitely stock pickers market.
I got to double check on, I just had a couple of comments coming through there on Disney, when that call might be this morning, but heads up on Disney. Worth a note here, this is the 10-year. Just noting all the yields right across the board, depending on what time base you're looking at, downside pretty significantly this morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row here for the 10-year, straight back downside through 4.5% again on the way back down for the 10-year. The dollar this morning under a little bit of pressure as well. I was just noticing nice bounce over in Italy this morning for this one. Race reported Ferrari with earnings sticking to their prior guidance. I think a lot of people were expecting a little bit of an uptick. So this actually halted down on a volatility halt over in Italy this morning when they first reported in North America. So the stock's already trading in the European session when the earnings come out in North America, halts to the downside, but decent bounce here. It's up better part of 15 euros over in Milan.
Yeah, that's interesting about the halt. In terms of the numbers itself, they did beat for GAAP, EPS, and sales. The one negative thing, other than the revenue guidance here, was a 7% year-over-year drop in total shipments. But yeah, interesting look there for Ferrari with that bounce and with that halt.
Yeah, dipping their toe into the electric side of things as well as Ferrari, which they promised they would never do, but we'll see how that plays out. Just reading a little bit more on Peloton as well. From CNBC, it doesn't actually say any details on this, just that multiple, quote unquote, multiple private equity firms circling Peloton. But Race, if you look at it in New York, downside as well, and a pretty big gap here, guys, but not really doing a heck of a lot yet.
Well, the interesting thing for me would be next time there's not a lot of, I guess, interesting European names that we would actually trade, and Race probably falls into that category. But if you looked at what happened when this halted, like it halted down on volatility, this is it reopening higher. When you talk about the mechanism working like it's supposed to, that feels like a day trading opportunity if I ever see this happen again on some kind of a bigger name. Like you're not going to do it on a rando name, but there's at least a few dozen in Europe that are probably worthwhile that make a move like this. It was down over 5%, but this is like 72.8. And it never even gets, it gets like one tick below 72, doesn't threaten the halt down price. And that is a clean relief rally. On a 3-minute chart, you don't even have a red candle for about 30 minutes. Like it's insane. Like 9 or 10 red, green candles in a row. So if I see a halt down on one of these stocks again, I'm probably gonna jump on over. Like you just don't see big cap names like this go into halts. As far as that Peloton goes, I mean, this could squeeze today. If you look at the actual short fillet, I still see 15.5%, up 17. Above a nice $3.90, $4 level right around the 50 period. Yeah, this holds 4 at the open. I think it has a decent shot of going, but it's not screaming off of this dip just yet. So I want to give it some time here. Oh, there, I see you behind me, Randy. It's got to be Randy, is it? Yeah. Of course. RIVN Apple rumor. You hear about this?
Yeah, but
You're not buying it?
no.
Day of earnings. Seems a little sus. So you don't like it at all? Well, don't buy that Rivian top. Randy, who has been loving Rivian this whole time, saying he's not feeling it. I'm really skeptical about the timing of that.
No.
Like, it's just like on the day of earnings, really? You're going to tell me that there's all of a sudden a rumor about an Apple partnership? Oh, well. All right, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Ferrari halted down today.
Down 4%. Yep.
Always, always.
Thank you, Randy.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, watch out for that. I didn't even realize stocks could halt over there in Milan. So yeah, good job for Race. They're only down 4%, nicely battled back. Yeah, I mean, it's been pretty much a dumpster fire. We'll probably talk about Tesla once we go through our rundown in a couple minutes. But again, more worries here come through with China numbers on our watch list. Tesla, we're going to be talking about it, but another name doing 1.1 million shares, trying to baseline down here near 180, but down 1.6%. We always talk about the type of style of trader that we are, relative strength and weakness with support and resistance levels. It's really that simple. Tesla's on my mind here today, and so is that coffee that Randy's about to go get.
Lots of interesting names here on the upgrade side of things. Gap here getting upgraded by Citigroup, up about 4%. They're raising the price target to 28. Citigroup also upgraded another retail name here. If you skip to the bottom of this list, Target here, not giving a price target for this one, but nice little upgrade here for TGT. We also have a couple other upgrades to talk about. Palantir is an interesting one here from Deutsche Bank, actually retaining a sell rating, but raising the price target from 18 to 20. So very interesting note for Palantir from Deutsche Bank. UBS also here upgrading Vale. For downgrades, we have a bit more of a mixed bag. Green Plains getting downgraded here by BofA Securities. Jefferies downgrading Lyra Therapeutics. Bolero, this one missed earnings across the board yesterday morning. Then also last night, some potential lawsuit discussions there being reported by CNBC, but Oppenheimer lowering their price target for this one to $15. Last but not least, Cerence getting downgraded by Needham, guys.
Yeah, I mean, it just goes to, like the Palantir one, it just sort of goes to show sometimes, right? Like you still had like 21% was the revenue growth. So there was a lot of things that an analyst might still like about it. Now, depending on where your targets were on the stock, like they could be, you know, some people could have already had reasonable targets. Some people are going to adjust it up, down, and around. You've got to understand like where the analysts are coming from in a general sense and like what their time frame is. But I suspect you're going to get some jockeying for position on this one. But there was, I just wanted quickly, I'm going to mention Target here. Target, I understand it got that upgrade. It's trying to make a decent bounce, but I always talk about like support turning into resistance. And this would be like 163, 164. And if it can't, whoops, that's the futures. If it can't get back up through that, then like a lot of charts we're going to look at today, you're pulling back, you pull back underneath the 50 period moving average, and on a bounce back in front of it, you're starting to run into some resistance. So I think that's what Target could be facing. Whether or not this upgrade can get it there today, like that's a couple of bucks. But I've seen a lot of charts that look exactly like this. Rally, pull back, hold a 50, break underneath it. Now you're getting the consolidation under a 50-period moving average. A lot of times the next move can be down. Microsoft's a great example of this one. It tried to punch through yesterday right at the close on a similar pattern. I'm a little more bullish on Microsoft. Like if this could get above 414, that's clearing the 50-period moving average.
Yeah, Microsoft is a buy at this level. I think even just right now. I think another buy right now is Walmart. I think you can buy because it's tried to hit $60. It's been hovering around there for a minute. I mean, this name I feel like will report decent number, 59 right there coming into play on a nice little bounce level. The 50-period moving average on this chart will be nothing because we did not adjust for the split there. But here's Walmart right now. So we'll have a quick look. Nice little hold coming in. Earnings date for Walmart is, one second. I didn't know I'd be talking about this because I just saw Target over there. And I wanted to hit over to Walmart because I have better thoughts about this. May 16th, so we're coming in here to earnings. I was looking at Walmart the other day. I'm not in this name. I think you could buy it. I mean, Costco has been really good off that bottom as well. A name that works pretty much no matter what the economy is doing. Walmart has something for everybody. I mean, I know it's lower end, I get that, but at the same time, grocery, good spots, well located. You know, their online's going to sing at some point, I figure, as well. So I like Walmart. So that's Walmart right there. Off of a Target downgrade, I'd pick some Walmart up if any weakness there.
I'm a Walmart over Target. So anyways, I'm just going to tell a story. I was in Florida, and we're at this little like beach in Clearwater. We just kind of went out to the pier, and then we're back. just sort of hanging out at the beach. And there was a group of like 3 families sort of chilling out. And there was a bunch of older kids were playing soccer on the beach there. And then all of a sudden, these 4 girls from that group walk up to all the parents, and they have a choreographed song and dance, and the song was "Take Us to Target." The only thing that they wanted to do that day was have the parents take them to Target. By the end of this, it was like a 1-minute song and dance they did. Like everyone turns to the parents, like, "You taking them to Target?" The dad's like, "I ain't going to no Target," and everyone starts booing them.
Yeah.
And I sat there like, these kids just want to go. We're at the beach right now in the sun having fun. They're playing soccer, and like they want to go to Target. But
my kids loved Target when it was here.
I love Target too when it was here, but I don't love it that much. I'm a Walmart over Target person all day, every single day. As a matter of fact, we were talking about, I was talking to Sharif about grocery delivery and how actually like Walmart, for myself, a lot of times is the most convenient options depending on what I'm getting. So I'm not a Target guy, but I'm definitely all over Walmart. To be sure, I do own them in my account, but some Americans are pretty obsessed with it, I guess.
Yeah, I like both.
Pretty big wave this morning, 10.6% for Datadog. Again, not really a heck of a lot of volume, kind of chopping around going sideways, but we are holding on to some significant levels here over on the daily chart. If you go all the way back to the beginning of the year, that's January. We haven't seen these levels since the beginning of the year for D-Dog on a bit of a miss here. Again, the forecast questionable for Datadog.
Datadog's an interesting one here. We did have the full year revenue forecast coming in slightly above estimates for revenue and EPS, but the lower end of its ranges for both earnings per share and revenue for Q2 coming in lower than expected. Also, their president, Amit Agarwal's set to step down by the end of 2024, but he'll be overseeing the transition. So a couple updates there with regards to Datadog.
Yeah, it's been sideways for the most part this year, but had a nice run up into 2024 for Datadog.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that I haven't heard anything coming out of Disney here, but I would imagine the call must be happening right now.
Yeah,
because it just made another $5 tank on volume. You can see, like, on volume, this has just happened. So ear to the ground. I haven't heard anything in particular out of Disney since, obviously, we got the earnings. But, yeah, the call must be happening. Datadog, there we go. Datadog is trying to bounce right here off of 110, the 200-period moving average. If it opens right now, it would be short sell restricted, and then that sets up like an SSR bounce at a support level at potentially at 110. So like that's as far as I'm concerned, that's the only trade I think I'd make in Datadog. I don't really ever trade this stock. Not here to comment too much. You guys already heard the numbers, but down 10%, and there is a support level at 110 on the daily. It's also a major moving average, and it's already bounced there once. So that's what I would be looking for in Datadog. Decent volume, over 1 million shares as well. So, that's pretty much the only thing I'd look for in DDog.
All right, so do we want to take 25 cents on Disney or not? We bought that dip there on Disney. Nice move back in, obviously, here, hitting some lows. And yeah, not good. This is why we talked. Remember we talked about that? We sold some at 112, 115, 117, 120, 150, all the way up. We still have shares, so this is not great for Disney. But you see this little wick right there? That's 106. So that's, we'll play it into 106 right now. Take the long Disney, and look at this. Despite this name going to the downside, we're already in the money now, 30, 40 cents on that dip down. This is shot play, so let's see if it can get back up.
There is some news here.
Yeah, let's see if it can get back up to the upside, and then we'll figure that out.
Yeah, it looks like they're saying their parks growth is moderating from peak post-COVID levels, and ESPN Plus button to be added to Disney Plus streaming service. I think that would be a positive. But the parks thing's not going to be good, but that's a positive, the second part of that.
The parks is all that matters, really.
Yeah, I mean, moderating from peak post-COVID levels. Well, that just means you had a big rally in comparables and you're slowing down growth. But obviously, you're going to have massive growth coming out of COVID.
There it is right there. This is. I hope this is why you trade with us, man. We'll talk about real trading. There it is. Again, we'll take another piece out there for 50 cents on Disney. If you want to come over here, Fabian, just real quick, just to show everybody. There it is. So let it get a little bit wasted down there. Take a piece out. This could still be an L, but a quick little money drop there for Disney. Nice to start the day with a dub for now on Disney. Quick 50 cents there on a scalp back up to the upside. We're back here again today, guys.
Let's get into what we need to know here as we head towards the open on a Tuesday morning. Again, just keep in mind there is some Fed speak coming up. We really don't get anything important on the economic side of things until Friday morning. We'll get Michigan sentiment coming up on Friday morning. There is some import-export data to come at 10 o'clock this morning, but nothing major again until Friday. Palantir, top of the list this morning, as a lot of people are paying attention to this move to the downside this morning. Again, the forecast here, a little tiny bit of a miss here for PLTR.
Yeah, I remember seeing that Palantir forecast, that 649 to 653 million expectation versus the estimate of 653 million 0.25. So very slight miss there, but I guess missing on the top end of a range, not super well received there by market participants. That being said, they did well on the actual numbers there, posting for revenue and earnings per share. And Alex Karp and the company saying some nice things well about their AI platforms going forward.
Yeah, including this quote, "We have no competitors in the U.S. commercial and government markets."
That's right.
No competition is good.
Just try not to Boeing themselves at this point. But no, look, it's on the sticky note. I'm trying to get it out right now. We're doing a little bit more here. We don't have our guests today, but nice move down into $22 for Palantir. Look, this to me is a buy. Brendan just said some stuff there. Again, things are cracking. No, about positive stuff there about the no competition. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of competition down there, but they're spinning now. This is exactly what we want to see. You actually want, I mean, you don't want to see down 11%. You'd rather it have held up here, but this is giving us an opportunity to get more shares. That's the way I look at it. I still like the long-term story here. This just goes back to where we were. So there's, today is the 7th, so that's today. So that's yesterday. We were up 7%. Back into Monday, Friday, Thursday. So like we're back 3 days ago into these levels where we held nicely down at 21.50. For me, this is a buy down here, regardless of, like you saw Disney get smacked and still probably going to go lower here today. I feel like they've held this bid down here, $21, $22. So you have an SSR bounce possibility. Unfortunately, Alex Karp was talking all about how if there's continued uncertainty in this world, it should benefit Palantir. So we never want to. It's like sort of like when you invest in LMT or anything like that. You know, war times are not great times for many stocks, but I think for Palantir, they've sort of laid it out as far as immigration, the U.S. Army being their largest customer, the U.S. government being their largest customer, Israel, they're all using Palantir software. So a lot of software names have been getting hit. We've seen Adobe, we've seen a lot, Snowflake, which I've recently bought Snowflake. You guys know that as well. Yeah. So I think there's a lot of opportunity in these names. Palantir's actually held up really well in software. So let's just see what happens moving forward. I like these dip buys, and I'm a buyer of Palantir with the current bid down there near 21.50.
Yeah, the way that, look, the volume that it's chewing through today, if it opens up, which it should open up down 11% right now, down 10%, it'll be short sell restricted, harder to hit the bid in that case. That sets up 22, that sets up 21.60, and even if it gets lower than that, then I'll be looking for bids at all of those support levels. And again, when you're looking for an SSR play, it's not that you just necessarily sit on the bid out in front of it. The second I see any kind of a bounce off that level, show a bid, put in a higher low, go into the long. And we mentioned this about GameStop yesterday. Nothing to do with fundamentals on GameStop, but when it got to $14, look at the wick bottom it put in a wick bottom at 14, and then it broke it out. Obviously, taking it past VWAP would have been optimal, but this is kind of the idea of what you're looking for when a stock is down that 10% in rallies. And you have it from 14 to 1480 or whatever, and if you consider that not a success, then I think that's a good thing. Palantir, I don't know that it can do, like GameStop almost went green when it had an SSR bounce. I don't think Palantir is going to do that, but it can have a decent one. And whether it's 22, 21.6, or 20.60, all three of those levels, I'll be looking for the same thing.
All right, let's touch on Tesla here. Downside this morning, as we were saying, what is it, 1.8% right now, so well off the lows. But yeah, this comes out this morning. Specifically China-made Tesla sales downside to the tune of 18% year over year. I mean, we were up yesterday, had a pretty good day yesterday. We're just back to Thursday, Friday levels here for Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla's certainly been moving up and down, I would say, since earnings. But this is interesting as well. I found this graphic from Bloomberg actually contextualizing the drop that we had here. So month over month, 30% drop. 18% year-over-year drop there for Tesla. It's China sales. Also interesting, BYD doing pretty well. And also in general, that there's been an increase in EV sales in China. So Tesla seems to be one of the standouts that is actually selling less for this month from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's an interesting graph, kind of chopping around back and forth there. We are brought to you by our friends over at Blue Chew. Guys, remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in convenient chewable tablets at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive prescriptions discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and shipped directly to you, and we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use promo code TraderTV at checkout. Just pay $5 shipping. BlueChew.com. Use that code TraderTV at checkout.
Thank you very much, Brendo. And look, Tesla, 5 days in a row, Tesla has spiked at the open, with a decent spike at the open, and retraced all the way back to pre-market lows. So on up days, it's done it. On down days, it's done it. On flat days, it's done the same thing. So if we get into 185 short, if we get into 183.5 and curl and stay red underneath that 185, I'm looking for the pop and fade early on Tesla. You had the declining China sales. Okay, so that's not good. Then you had the NIO and BYD trying to partner up. BYD's numbers respectively were a little bit better. So you have enough in here. You know, at the end of the day, look, I like Tesla. I think the recovery after earnings has been a solid one. But in this consolidation, the 930 move has been pop and fade on Tesla. So I love what's going on in terms of this consolidation. But the early trade, it's really just been about finding a place for that curl. So 185 is essentially where we closed yesterday, 184.76 as the exact price. And then you have overhead resistance at 186. So I'm looking for the curls into those resistance levels on Tesla.
So we already might have one of my better trades of the day on board right now. It's already a dollar club for Disney. Just went up there into 108 right there again. So thanks for everybody mentioning that in the chat. I'm going to hold this just to see if it goes. I mean, we'll lose or make a dollar hopefully on this and hopefully make. But this is just playing around right here, just trying to show you some of the abilities of being able to trade in the pre-market with a little bit less volume and a little bit bigger moves out of nowhere as Disney just started to get going, down 8%. We'll get to that in a couple minutes, but so far that is what it is there for Disney. Nice little dollar there. As far as Tesla is concerned, I'm writing this, the sticky note is already out right now for that. So we can watch out and see what's going to happen with Tesla. But for me, I have this there as trade idea number 2. And I'm just thinking that 183 short sell for Tesla. Bad numbers out of China, trying to hold 180, looking to hold it. If it doesn't, we're going to go lower here with Tesla. So I'm not sure if we're going to bid this 180, 181 or not. But for me, this 183 is where the 200-period moving average is. We've had some opportunities to dip buy into that level. And yesterday, again, I feel like today, as we sit here and wait on what's going to happen for Tesla, I'm just looking at it down 1.6% here. China has been a worry. Sort of addressed that there in the call. We already saw some of the numbers come through for China, and EV market as a whole is down. So this is not a surprise. It's just another negative thing hitting this stock. And we had bounced off yesterday, 182.50. So yesterday, when we were sort of going long, we had a nice move back in and bounced here. In the pre-market, we've held that. So I'm going to say, why don't we start this short in and around 183 and look to 183.50 or so. Tesla on my mind here for short for the day. And by the way, there it goes again. It's another one as all the way back up here for Disney. It's a dollar club right there. So, you know, again, we talk about look, trade your style. We're showing you many different styles here every single day. So here's another one, a little pre-market dip buy opportunity for Disney.
The call did start there at 8:30. Still seeing a few comments there on Disney's earnings. Let's go to a busy day for Apple, or potentially a busy day for Apple. 1.2% right now. Just took out that aftermarket high there from yesterday. But this came out late in the day yesterday, which caused that move, potentially working on their own AI-focused chips for data centers specifically. On top of that, we get this event coming up. Anything related to AI today is going to move this stock.
Let loose coming at 10 a.m., so in less than an hour, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We'll definitely let you know if we see anything coming from that. In terms of this chip, information as reported by the Wall Street Journal, pretty interesting, apparently being called internally Project ACDC, or Apple Chips and Data Center. And it also, the company's been working with Taiwan Semi on the chips, so there's no timeline. So some interesting stuff there from that Wall Street Journal report on these Apple clips. We'll have to, or Apple chips, sorry, we'll have to see what the Let Loose event entails.
Yeah, there was, who was it? Oh, Steve Eisman on CNBC this morning as well, saying the same thing, just echoing the AI side of things. Apple could be a major player. Let's be honest, will be a major player in the AI side of the game as soon as they come out with their version of it. That's 200, remember, we're at 184, 185 coming into play today.
Yeah, like obviously one thing you have to keep your ear to the ground for is, I mean, at 10 o'clock you're going to get the event, and you all know trading around any kind of an event where one piece of news comes in your favor, great, against you, as long as you have a stop, you should be okay, but then you can get wicked out. With all that said, you had what I consider to be a disappointing day, resistance off of support, right back today, hopefully to resistance. So like I wanted to be favoring longs after what we saw on Friday, got back above the 200 period and consolidating above it. Longs where I want to be on the stock, and then yesterday it just showed you it's only a short, so the only trade I had was shorting underneath 183. Now you're above it. It's going to be that simple. You held support on the earnings gap at 83. You held resistance at 83. This morning I'm looking for dips into 183. I think you do have to be nimble once the event is on. Look, clearly you know they're going to be, everybody knows they're going to be a player in AI. Like, let's get real for a split second. Every single device is going to have onboarded AI capabilities with it. So obviously Apple's going to get it done. And since when does anybody care about Apple being first in anything? That's the weird thing for me, is like you never care about Apple being the first. You just care about them getting it right in the long term. Suddenly, when they're a bigger part of everybody's portfolios in the market, they're going to be more scrutinized. I get that. I'm not worried about the RIVN news, the Apple RIVN thing possibly not being true, because I don't think that should really affect Apple stock. That would be a rug pull on RIVN if it's not true, so I'm not worried about that when it comes to Apple.
So Apple's not even on my, I mean, Apple's been on my radar every single day, and it was, I think it was, I don't know if it was P&L number 1 yesterday or not, but I think it might have been. We really like Apple to trade it. It's been a beautiful stock to trade, especially off earnings. And we had really been nailing this one. I like this story here today now that I'm seeing this chart. It's not on the sticky note. I was going to get close to putting it on there. I chose Amazon instead. But Apple's, like Neil said, they don't have to be first. They just have to be the best. And I mean, that is what they've produced. And they're going to be that again. They're going to love everything that this Let Loose concert, this Let Loose conference is going to bring. But at the same time, to me, it's a little bit, you know, something to avoid heading into that. It's at 10 a.m. I don't really, you know, what if they announce the pricing and it's not what people thought, or maybe the chip's not as hype as they thought, or maybe it's the opposite, maybe it's cheaper, or, you know, then you got to have a bias that way. So for me, I'm going to leave Apple, let it lie right now here today. You know, if it gets exciting and it's down near the 200, you know, which is down here at 182.75, like days low there in the pre-market, I could see myself stepping in to buy this. But again, lack of a catalyst. And what I mean by that is like this RIVN and Apple news is a rumor. So I don't want to be trading on rumors. you know, especially if I would do anything, it would be RIVN. It wouldn't be Apple on that. And then also with this let loose event where we kind of know what's going to happen, but they could drop some news about something else. I just, for me, we've made a lot of money on Apple in the last little while. And what do you need Apple for when you've got Disney? So right now, $1.20 in the money, trying to go higher here is Disney, trying to break above this 108. So Apple for me is a no trade until after the event or during the event if we get dramatic moves one way or the other.
All right, still seeing comments coming through here. 9/11 was the last one I see from Bob Iger. So just be aware, as Disney, we're talking about the earnings call still on here. Disney's saying the company is not investing heavily at this point in growing international sports right. ESPN will remain its own standalone separate streaming service. CEO saying as well the company sees a lot of value in movie sequels specifically this year. So that being said, nothing too positive here for price action. And this as well, their version of password sharing crackdown coming next month.
It's interesting too, I remember when we got those password sharing crackdowns from Netflix, they gave us specific dates. I think Netflix implemented it very well. Disney just saying next month, which is a little bit broad. They did miss on sales. They beat on earnings per share. They said they're seeing 25% adjusted EPS growth this year versus 20% initially. Growth here in subscribers and their average core ARPU or average revenue per user. Some other comments are coming from the conference call as well, saying that they want to add the ESPN Plus button to the Disney Plus service, and also that with regards to the succession concerns which have been ongoing with Bob Iger, saying that he is, quote, confident that they'll choose the right person at the right time. So not a lot of details there.
Yeah, Netflix able to turn that password sharing event into a positive on the ad space side, and then getting people to sign up for the cheaper version as well. So we'll see if Disney can follow suit.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they're all going the same way. Like they're gonna end up with all the similar models and all the similar tiers, and I think that makes a heck of a lot of sense in the long term. The stock is, look, this is a name that I wanted for, Palantir is gonna be an SSR bounce potential play. Datadog is gonna be an SSR bounce potential play. Disney was going to be one before it turned around on that call. It would have to get to, it's like 104.80, I think was the exact price, about, yeah, $104.80. So just underneath 105 would have been that SSR bounce level. And again, it just comes down to let it settle down. This has been a setup that's just kind of worked a few times, and that's what I like over there on Disney. If it doesn't hold, if it were to get down to 5 and not hold that level for a bounce, then the 100's in play, like all that kind of good stuff. I just got into Peloton. I wanted to see this one settle down a little bit. We got that news. It was just a couple of private equity firms discussing being interested in picking them up. A 15% short float on the stock. It then put in a lower high off the $4 level and is now holding VWAP. So I'm into it off of that $4 level here in Piton. Good volume. I mean, the catalyst for a squeeze name doesn't have to be much more than rumors, because at the end of the day, it's a squeeze name. And they're up post-earnings. Like, they've had the report, and they've already bounced off of their report, good or bad or otherwise. Peloton up 20% here. Think it's going to be a trade. Maybe this is something that doesn't resolve itself for a while, but today it's got the volume to go.
Peloton will definitely get taken private, so that rumor will happen. All right, I've already given you guys this bottom right down there. That's why we went long. So 106. So when it came back in there, again, you know, we're showing, hopefully we're showing true colors here, you know, playing names that are active, picking up opportunities. Yesterday, we absolutely nailed MSOS at the end of the day to have a nice little trade there on news falling through. There was another news play there at the end of the day. I think it was at Boeing, I believe, maybe at the end of the day that we nailed as well. This was it. So boom. And then now again with Disney, nice move immediately to the downside there. And we just bought that back up. So, you know, looking at it, we have a good enough profit now. I don't know, might be good enough all day, but we're going to try to let this thing continue to move higher here. Back for Disney, down 8%. The buyers are coming in. I mean, I'm feeling a little silly here, not taking some out, but this is again, could be my trade of the day. So we'll take this at the bottom. We're only out of 1/3. 109, 109.50 VWAP in and around there is where I'm trying to get a piece out. Not happy with the stock. We talked about how their streaming service, and even people in the chat are like, they have no good content. Why would you ever choose Disney over anything else? I mean, I do agree. I tried to cancel Disney, remember? And then my wife was like, there's Vanderpump Rules or something like that over there. But yeah, so, the new content's been pretty weak. We've talked about what's potentially coming with Star Wars and all that. But other than that, pretty weak, and it's not like Star Wars has been performing that well, I don't think, anyways, compared to what they spend on these things. And then they have the theme park. So I'm not loving this name, but again, should be good for some upside bounces. That is Disney, so let's go talk now, again, about some Rivian and Apple.
Is here right now, 9.5% for Rivian already here this morning, 11:30 coming into play, top end of the daily range here. Coming into play as well, yeah, if you missed it, rumors, I guess, floating around. There's nothing else really confirmed at this point that they may team up with Apple on some sort of arrangement.
Rumors definitely the key word here. There's no confirmation on any of this, but Digitimes, which is based in Taiwan, which people are saying is giving this a little bit of credence because that is the home of a lot of Apple suppliers. Basically, Digitimes reporting that Apple is mulling over working with an EV startup, which is rumored to maybe be Rivian. So rumored to be working with EV startup or considering that, and then Rivian being the startups people are talking about. So keep in mind, no confirmation for this, but this does follow Apple canceling its Project Titan EV project earlier this year.
Yeah, just a few weeks back, doesn't even feel like that long ago, they said pass to EVs in general here. But as you guys were saying, this might be a little bit overcooked here this morning.
Well, it's going into earnings. We just saw Palantir run up on earnings, but there wasn't, but the day before earnings, but it wasn't like there was anything like this in the news for Palantir. Also, Rivian's got a 19% short float. It just held the 50-period moving average. The 200 is so far out of bounds, we're not going to get it. I don't wonder if there's not going to be a sell event either in the afternoon or after the earnings, especially if this ends up not being true. We cross that bridge when you get there. $11.60 and I think $13 are a couple of places where that bridge might be for me on Rivian. Until that happens, when I first sat down, I liked the pre-market low. It had already put in a bit of a double bottom. These are dark pool wicks, so that's not really a tradable level when it happened at 8 o'clock. So unless it's back down closer to 11, I don't want to chase the top on this rumor for Rivian. Just feels a little bit frothy. That 11.60 is now 25 cents away, yet pre-market lows are 50 cents away, which doesn't really set up a great risk to reward. Oh, the other thing we should get to, Lucid reported they're down. It's not really moving a heck of a lot. And if it were to go SSR, it would be at a pretty decent support level or potential resistance to support level right around that 270 level. I think it's exactly at 272 or something, which is literally the low of last week. So or Friday, I should say. So Friday's low, then the stock goes short sell restricted, which does set up Lucid for that kind of short sell restricted bounce play. But it has to go a couple of ticks more to tick SSR.
All right. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So I'm looking the other way on Rivian. I think a pullback into 1085, 1090, something like that. I wrote down 1050 for Rivian. Obviously, that's where we sort of topped out at before we broke through. So I'm thinking somewhere down here on a potential move back in for Rivian when Apple comes out and goes, huh? So let's wait to see what happens now on a pullback for Rivian. I'm long the name. This is another one that we had recently bought. We actually bought it right here, 11.25, I think. 11.20, 11.25. So yeah, it's been a pretty bad name, but we've been holding it this whole way. And yeah, good to hear this news for Rivian, although I do think it is a nothing burger for now. I'll take Randy's side with that one and say Rivian goes southbound there. I think the risk is to the upside, not to the downside. All right, so again, just looking at Palantir here, I was just thinking about it because I know I'll be in this, and I'm not trying to, remember, we're gonna try to put on risk, so we're not here to say if this happens, then I may do that. I'm, 2150 to me is going to be a spot where I'm just going to get out if we don't hold this support down here at 2170. I mean, this is the daily chart. Maybe it looks better here because we're done. So we're done the rundown. There it is right here, this hold. So I feel like we should come back into here and have a look. And then you want to give it a little bit more room, maybe. You know, this is 2130, 2140. But then if you break that, then you probably want to look at 21 again. And then you're like, oh my God, if that breaks, then what? The last time that happened, you went all the way down to $20.70. So you guys want to have bigger trades with bigger shares. We're here to do that. But at the same time, you have to have an out, right? So I'm not going to hold this all the way down to $20.50. So we'll take shots down here on Palantir in and around this 2150, 2180, even if it gets there. I'm not convinced it gets there, but let's just wait to see it could. And if it does, then we will be sitting there trying to buy up some Palantir. Probably right even here, man, 2160s. Like, that would be a great fill, and then that would give me the opportunity to at least hold it a little bit into 2140, maybe 2125 break now that I see that. So, you know, let's take a shot here on Palantir. I don't normally trade names on earnings, you know, but this has come back in. I really like the name, and I don't think that they said anything that would scare me off. Google with a short there right now, starting to push a little bit lower there. Apple with a little sell. The imbalances just came out, so we'll see the NASDAQ not having much reaction, but Apple, again, to the sell side. Like I said, this was probably a nothing until the event, and you've just seen Apple now drop $1 for no reason other than this, I guess. Disney, that's a sell as well. So we're here to say that this is just a shot on this name here right now. So we'll have to wait to see what happens on Disney. And then Uber right now, nice move up. That's a buy. A couple names that we had talked about. RIVN, I'm here for the sell. I'm not going long on this name until we get at least down to 1050. So let's wait to see what happens. There's still 3 minutes left.
Yeah, TSM was a sell there. That Apple, AI chip news, that was TSM that would be building it. So, well, fabrication of it. Yeah, Apple's going to do their own design, but TSM basically is going to make it for just about everybody. So I like the stock, but sell imbalance is a little bit interesting for them. CGC, I wanted to mention, remember CGC broke $10, it broke support, flat bottom break. I like the short back into 10. That was a break that we had in the afternoon show, and it's consolidating lower. So underneath, this is about 10.10 where you had that support, just a hair underneath that. But I like the short back into that level on CGC. Clearly, you've had a massive run, and if you don't hold $10, the gap fill potential, 8, 850, 9, all of those levels are going to be in play. So there's a heck of a lot moving as far as I'm concerned. Palantir is going to open up pretty much at that $22 level. I think like it's going to test 22 right away, which puts like the first potential bounce spot into play. If it fails a breakdown at 22, I like it on the way back up. Kind of give it a local stop. If it holds 90, you give it to 90. And then from there, that level's 2160. I think that's got to be in play. Datadog as well, potential SSR bounce. And then we forgot about NVIDIA. Well, didn't really forget about it, just a heck of a lot of other stuff to talk about. NVIDIA was a breakout at 896. I tried 900, and that was not a clean move. I like that 895 area back in on a dip buy. So we got some room to go down before it would get there, but NVIDIA's down 1%, and the NASDAQ's actually just gone green and taking out some highs. So there is a chance that you could get back down there on NVIDIA. Good breakout level at that 895, as they did have a little bit of a tie-in with Apple on news, but overall, not doing a heck of a lot just yet.
All right, I'm just getting some of these stops in here. Palantir's coming down right now. I was looking at Disney, but again, that's just, we already have our stop in for Disney as well. A break of that 105.50 for Disney. We're just sorting out some of these imbalances, right? So as they come through here, we're going to watch out for that dip down in on Palantir, a name that we nailed yesterday that I think this was P&L number one. I was saying Apple, but it was Amazon. We had the 184 yesterday, or 185, sorry, on Amazon. We had this dip buy, so we're here to do that again. And we had this 188 break at the end of the day. Like yesterday was a great day to trade. For sure. Let's see if we can repeat again here today. We'll try to bid some little Amazon here at 187. And then what's on the sticky note is 188. What's on there is 187 in case we fall down. But with this market continuously moving higher, it seems like right now, off of a nice base of 18.2. Now you're at 18.210, looking to go northbound. So far so good there. Bitcoin 63.5, that's a good one.
Just quick note, we only had 20 seconds to go. Mars is supposed to be added to the S&P 600 today. So at least some point I'm going to be looking for some bids. I got the 1920 level marked off, but that could be more of an afternoon idea or like a trend trade. As we go to Adair, it's a Tuesday. Let's get this party started. Don't forget, Apple event starts in 30 minutes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, you know what to do, Adair. Right away, we're right at $20 on Palantir. We know that's going to be pretty heavily traded stock. It's trying to take it out. It just got a fresh low into 99s. I'm going to get a stop ready to go at the 90 level.
So your Peloton, right now we're still in Disney. There's no positions on the board right now. Yeah, we're gonna watch out to see what happens here as we're now open. And there comes Disney right back in, man, right to the downside there. So, you know, again, we were really aware of this potential move happening here for Disney. So let's now see where we go on this one. Our stop still at that same level, 105.50. For Disney as it came back in there on a big sell. We should have been there. I should have been there to buy it, but we were not. And then there goes Palantir, man. I mean, I knew this name would sing. It's just at what level would that come through there? It bounces clean off 21.90. Good move there for Palantir. Let's see if it comes back in. So far, so good right there. Yeah, we're up today, but just to have Disney.
Yeah, Piton does not hold support right off the bat. I gave you my out underneath 406. The second it tagged it, I was instantly out. Always have to have a level to work off of. Palantir just made the bounce back through $22. I was able to get 11s on the way back in. I missed.
Look at Palantir.
22. I tried to get 01s and then 02s and 03s. Was unable to do it. Ended up with a 10. I think the SSR bounce is in play pretty decently here. Apple not doing anything. NVIDIA's gone again.
So I just have to ask you, what percentage of a position would have you put on there at 10 for how many shares you're looking to get?
Not at 10, no. At 10, I'm putting on like a quarter, minimum, max.
Quarter, okay.
Because that play is supposed to be at 22.
Here we go.
290. So you've essentially doubled your risk if you take it 10 cents higher. Like it's twice as much of a risk area. 22 evens is very different with a 21.90 stop than 22.12 or 22.11. So you have to adjust it there. But that was really fast. Like Palantir, like that move,
yeah,
they did not even sleep how quick that was. When I said NVIDIA's gone, NVIDIA just went up to 915 and back to 907 and back to 910. Okay, so NVIDIA's not gone just yet. But we've seen this before. Fail break at the low of the day, does not hold through the pre-market bottoms, and then tries to take out the top through 915. So 915, 15 looks like it would be that top. Getting back on over to Datadog was the other name on earnings we mentioned. It dipped right down into the bottom as well. Same time as Palantir, wicked the low and right back up for an SSR bounce on Datadog. That one just went $3 on an SSR bounce as well.
Man, we knew Palantir was going to be special today, and congratulations to everybody that has that trade, man. We only bought 49s there. We actually missed the 50 break, and there it goes right now. I mean, something to be talked about right there. You know, the #1 idea to go long there on Palantir. So congratulations, all of you that have that and have made some decent money off of it. Let's see where it goes from there. Yeah, Tesla. I did have a bid on. Oh no, what did I have? I had 183 short. Come on Tesla. What am I even doing on this? I didn't have an offer there, but there's the call for Tesla. So let's go, man. That's a face slapper. We're back. I mean, we're here. And by the way, who was talking about RIVN going tank city right there? I mean, there's RIVN. See ya. All the way down there to 1050. Man, we're a fuego here today. It's too bad our net doesn't really represent that. But we've got Palantir here. Again, you know, pretty decent position, but would have rather had 100 times more, of course. And then Tesla, wow, we absolutely nailed that position right there, man. That was a fantastic idea. 183, as if we wrote that down on here and then didn't put our order in. Oh man, that sucks when that happens. But hey, man, it's another day in Y, and it's another good one over here.
Yeah, it is what it is. Palantir is going to be at the level off 22. This is pre-market high here, so you take what you can get. It just bounced off of it. So it went story to story, or step to step, or stage to stage, whatever you want to call it. From 20 even, we said 20, 2160, and 2060 were the 3 SSR levels. It's going to give you the move. If it can hold a higher low, I'm all down with that as well. I got no issue. If it holds a higher low, we'll take a shot at that one again. But we just got the 50-cent move, and we'll take it. Did miss out on that 22 even entry, but you had to be super fast. Bit of a move up in CGC. We said 10-10 is going to be the out, not exactly 10 even. 10-10 hasn't broken just yet. I got eyeballs on NVIDIA, but it's not looking like it's going to make the same breakout that it did yesterday. Very different story for NVIDIA this morning. Disney did not go SSR.
So crazy.
I think it's 104.80 is SSR in Disney. Got really, really close. 105.50 on Disney. So not the automatic buy for me unless it goes to short sell restricted. Adara?
International paper, IP, popping up right off the open here. This coming out right after 9:30 that Brazil's Suzano is making a $42 per share acquisition offer to international paper. So $42 a share acquisition offer for IP, currently trading just below 41 after that pop-up, guys.
All right, despite missing everything, guys, it's still a trophy day. We only have 3 positions, but it's a big one, and we got a big one in RIVN. We're not being stupid about this one, guys. You know, we had missed Tesla, and I really feel sick about it. But at the same time, you know, there'll be other days. We're here every single day. But that sucks. All right, so RIVN, let's see what happens now with RIVN. Hopefully, we can continue to the upside. We just bought some 50s here. We're actually long at 58. We're able to get some out there at 68, 69s. Let's see if it continues to go to the upside. Oh, man, that's really too bad about Tesla. I'm honestly, I like that trade. It's on here as sticky note idea number 2, the 183 short, and I forgot to put the offer in there. So that's going to happen to us, but oh well. If RIVN breaks below 50, though, we're gone. And we nailed this one. We called this one a short all the way back here to 50. So again, without having FOMO, like, oh my God, I missed it, we did take it this time. And yeah, if it loses for us. But we're here to make some money. So let's see if RIVN wants to work off that. I can't even look at Tesla, 179.50, honestly. Man, that's too bad. That was a big trade idea for us, and we missed that one. So, all right, Disney just goes out right away. We did buy some more 105.50s. This name's getting clocked. This will go SSR very, very soon. So watch out for 105 right now on Disney going SSR now. So, oh man. All right, try not to look at Tesla. Palantir's coming back in a little bit here. Not super excited about these levels yet, but it is a nice pullback for Palantir.
Yeah, look, I mean, Palantir 22s comes back. I think that's a bounce spot. I think it's 104.80 or something like that on Disney. So it actually has to break the even dollar level for me to be interested in SSR bounce. But Palantir right back at the 22 can be a play. And look, it got to pre-market highs or resistance levels, and I took it out, but I'll look to get back into it. Dara, what do you have?
CROX, Crocs here after initially falling to the downside with its ranges for its revenue and EPS falling slightly below expectations for the guidance. Now they are trading up almost 10%. Not a lot of volume on this move, but watch out CROX, Crocs with an earnings beat, guys.
Wow, they were down like at least a couple of points, Crocs. Good for them. Single-digit earnings last time I checked, and I do like Crocs. I have lots of them myself. Still not at 22 for Palantir. Disney is, I mean, it just wicked 105. I mean, it just gave you the 105 level. Oh, just an update. CGC just came back and printed some 80s, but still a little bit of an upward trend. I tried to add to it right in front of that 110 level on the 15-minute, but didn't get any money fills above the $10 level. Got it on the way up, not on the way down. For CGC, NVIDIA is already flying. Why not short Tesla in the 170s if it's garbage? Well, I mean, punching the low of the day at 938 is never my strategy. But like something like VWAP, usually if I'm trend trading, I'm going to cancel my offer. I liked it a little tighter to 184.5, 185. I wanted to get in starting at 184.5 on Tesla, and it didn't get anywhere near to it. So we'll have to back off that one, at least temporarily.
All right, so we'll be down a bit on Rivian, but I do want to punch it back long if we can break it one more time here. So there it is. So we're back into the long there on Rivian. That bottom was 38. So I was thinking about holding it all the way back down to there. Again, I just thought maybe we got taken out a little bit on that level. We do have obviously that rumor there for potential partnership or whatever it's going to be with Apple. So we'll try it one more time here, as we do have, of course, that event coming through very soon for Rivian, for Apple. Not that they're going to announce anything with Rivian. I wouldn't expect that type of an announcement. But nice move back in there for Rivian, coming back into the 50s. Right now, the professor is back after reading a lot of books. He's professored up right now, so he'll be back in there for the midday show. Good to see Sharif back. All right, Disney's now 40 cents in the money. We lost initially on this one. You know what's going on? Yeah, more of that. More. That wasn't enough. Okay, what's up to Sharif? He's back in the building, and that means the good vibes have returned. All right, there it is. So let's go now to the upside. Rivian is trying to go here. We're long at 10.50. Again, 4 cents in the money. Nice move up for Disney. Again, now up 70 cents off that move. And Palantir, we still wait, baby. We're waiting to put on real shares down here somewhere for Palantir. I do have a bid at 02. To see if we can get into there. We can bid a little bit now, see if we get some 06s, but here comes the move back in for Palantir. We still are waiting for that 21.50 or so, and then the missed trade of the day, as I said already, is Tesla, but we'll wait up there again and see if it bumps. What goes bump in the night? Maybe it's Tesla, but there's Disney again. We are waiting. There we got that. Yes, sir. All right, so Disney threw us for a loop, but we're up on Disney right now here today, off of that little bottom pick, and let's go Rivian. Let's go. Back up to the upside, almost positive again on Rivian as we got taken out early. Let's see if we can sort of have these positions make a little bit of money for us here now late. So here we go, man. Palantir back in now to 22 and change. Let's go Rivian.
Yeah, and speaking of Rivian and Palantir and SSR, Lucid was the other one, the SSR balanced. It ticked just down 10% by 1 penny. I'm into it. Just grabbed it at 75 and 76s on the way to the upside. I have a bid at 74, and we're taking it VWAP into the high of the day. We're about to get a reload, I think, in CGC as well, as that's starting to come back in. We did short that one off the $10 level. Once it gets in the high 90s, we're going to reload
right, no love for
that
Palantir.
one as well. So, Palantir came in a second time there. Came in a second time and could not hold on to the 22. So the next level for me was 21.6 and then $20.60 as well. Nikola new all-time lows. Somehow I'm not surprised. I did not read that report, so I'm going to assume it was not good.
Well, if it's a report from Nikola, it's definitely not good. All right, Disney right now back into your favorite club. It is the Dollar Club one more time. So we'll see about this one. Trying to catch a little bit of wind here is Disney off of that beatdown there today. But look what we did, man. We sat there and bought it. We've showed you key levels. Now let's go here on Disney. Let's get back up to the upside. Take out that 108, my guy. You can do that for sure. Yeah, I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith here with Rivian. But again, we've made some money back. We're pretty fine. It's just, you know, if it can, okay. Yes, sir. Here we go. Fire off the hot dog cannon, baby. Neil, this is $1.50 in the money right now with Disney. So it's a nice little move backside for DIS. And there goes Rivian one more time. So let's get going now back up to the upside. Come on, Rivian. Here we go. Good move off of that 1050. So far, so good here today. It's a big day for your boy. How are you doing, Neil?
About to get back into Palantir. Just got to get the bid above that $22 level. I got my eyes on it like a hawk. I want ones and twos actually printing and not just selling underneath. You have a refresher every time it gets to 22. They just sell back into that 99. They refresh the even dollar level. It's happened 3 or 4 times. Going long ones and twos. It's got to be over that support level. I reloaded CGC up in front of 10 and was able to get some 80s again. But right now Palantir is battling at 22. It's the next one for me. Dara.
Watch out for Microsoft here. MSFT, The Verge is reporting that Microsoft is shutting down some of its Xbox division is shutting down 4 studios in Bethesda, Maryland. The Xbox game studio head sending an email to staff to let them know. So MSFT to the downside here on some shutdowns of its Xbox studios, guys.
I liked the headline yesterday from Microsoft, and that was a super strong stock. Wow, the same battle is still happening here on Palantir. It's just they're stacking the offer at 99s over and over again, and they just won't let it get past. I can quickly show you guys what's happening. The only thing that we added to was going to be CGC, but every single time it gets to this price, you just see offers 99, offers 98, comes back up to the even. They just will not. None shall pass at that level. That's why I don't want to buy it until the buyers win out that price. And then you can give a stop at that low, going back over to something we are in. Once it gets above, you'll just see me punch in at 2s or 3s. We got to reload 98s on CGC, going to get some 70 bids as well. So when you're risking 10 to 15 cents, you want to take 10 to 15, at least I do. That's going to be the plan of action. There was new Sandviper, what is this, Better Call Saul? Sandviper on Neo was a partnership with BYD. So Rivian actually, Neo just went green, and there is news here. They have a partnership for like lower priced vehicles to compete with everybody else, and that's with BYD. So good move for them. Well, I don't want to chase that top. Wow, Palantir just gave up that 22. It was back at 89. It's a good thing we didn't go long. I wanted to see strength before I went long. Thank goodness we did not jump the gun.
All right, we are, again, we have to talk about them, or else you might not notice them. We have Disney right here. We just got out there at VWAP. So that was a long rate down here at 106, out at 107.73. We only have 20% left of this. Rivian, again, we talked about this news. Like when I was saying that Rivian's going downside there, when we talked about it, wait for 1050. I should have just gone short. I don't even know if you have to pay for shorts or not, but that's what we should have done there on Rivian, and we didn't do that. So that's a mistake, not going short. But we'll make money back long on Rivian. We did lose it, though, when it broke 1050, then bought it back. Waiting for a big move here. I'm not sure we're going to get it. So we did put some money back into our pocket there on Rivian, waiting for sort of that superhero move. My out was going to be in and around 1040, so a little bit of a dump in again for Rivian, and I feel like we'll be able, we will not be able to, we will sit there and buy a little bit more down in and around 45 or so for Rivian, and then if we break, then we wind up breaking. Remember, Let Loose event coming soon, very, very soon. That's 10 o'clock, so that should be something to pay attention to. Here comes Palantir, almost getting close to our level to buy a little bit more.
Yeah, I still have eyeballs on Palantir. Just one quick. We did have Piton sitting in a higher low, and then it broke support, so that was it right at the open. It's right back above the $4 level. So looking for a re-entry. I want it holding VWAP, and once it does that, I want to get back into this one over VWAP. I want to be buying on strength, not on that weakness. Always got to have an out. But at the end of the day, if it's going to trend up, the story is that a couple of private equity firms are allegedly interested in buying Peloton, which right now would be cheap. CGC, I'm not reversing long through 1010. We did get some out the 80s, never got any 70s out, and now it looks like it wants to scream higher. NVIDIA, no breakout today, I guess. It's just not going to be an NVIDIA day to the long side. So there was no real breakout of the local high. Still trying to hold VWAP. It can always come back and take out that 918, but for now, we're just going to have to be patient. And Palantir, I mean, it's still holding the low, so it's not completely out of the pocket yet. 2160 is the next level where I'd try the long or back through that 22. Looks like it's going to make another run at this $22 level.
Yeah, I really hope so right now. So let's see what happens. I'm still down there at that 2160 or so area as well, but looking for a bump back up now, of course, is Palantir. So I'm only in Disney, Palantir, and Rivian, so names that were on the sticky note. Let's go back over to Amazon and have a quick little look-see to see what's going on over there. All right, so we did have a 188 bid. Unfortunately, our bid is at 188.02, and the bottom of the day there is 188.25. So if this market does want to come back in, right now we will have a potential bid there for Amazon lurking. So it looks like RIVN is going to go lower right now. Man, oh man, we should have just played the short and still trying to catch some of these dip buys into that. So I'm going to set up a stop right now in and around 10:34-ish to get out of everything, because now we're starting to break. I mean, we're right at this low of the day here. We're in it at 48. So it'll be a hit, and it would kind of suck, of course. We never want to take hits. But again, RIVN right now having a hard, there it goes, having a hard time going. We knew it, man. You can't, like, you put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. And we've talked about that over and over again here on the show a couple times. So that's what RIVN is. We called that up here. Just sad that we didn't go short, but that's okay. Still there, won't lose that much, but there it goes. We'll wind up losing. And Palantir, again, instead of looking long all the time, all you have to do is look short. 22 bucks has been the best play so far here today anyone could have had. It just gave you another short. It was a short again right there. Palantir continues to go lower now as well. So RIVN gave it up, man.
Well,
we knew that short was there. Sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, I'm watching out for Lucid, obviously, because RIVN downside, market is turning. Oh my goodness, NVIDIA is going to take 900 in the other direction, by the way. Lucid, which we're still in on the SSR bounce, it didn't break out. So it gave you the higher low off VWAP into that SSR level, which is technically 73, but 72 was the print, and it needs to break out this high. They did report. RIVN is after the bell tonight, but Lucid already had their report, and it was already to the downside. So going to get some offers out there. You know, I was looking for the bounce play, the one that worked on GME on Palantir. It's just not going to give it to you, unfortunately. But that's more of a yet thing. Whoa, 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 NVIDIA going to find a short here in AMD. NVIDIA just tanked through 900. It's at 895.
Good.
And AMD's at VWAP. Sorry, guys. This is what NVIDIA is doing right now. So no breakout, no love. Thank goodness it didn't set up the breakout, although that's a good thing about breaks. You know, sometimes they win, sometimes they lose, but if they don't break, you don't have to take it. That is absolutely tanking, and you're still at VWAP on AMD. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, we had looked for a move here on NVIDIA to come through. So let's wait to see if we do get that move exactly on NVIDIA. I'm going to refresh my Benzinga Pro because I don't think it was necessarily hot yet here today. So we'll watch out for that. Just refreshing it. Here's the Benzinga Pro platform. I want to hear, there's like a live squawk that you can get from this. So you just drop this down. Whoops, drop it down. Push play. I've restarted it, so it was always playing. So we'll hear if there's any news hitting at all. Make sure the site is not muted, which it is not. So now we'll go back into it and see what happens here for that. All right. Yeah, it looks like, RIVN again. Do we really want to test these? I don't think so. Let's leave it alone. We did miss a 75 bid there. We tried to buy a little bit more. We were at 60s for Palantir. We missed that dip buy opportunity right now on that one. Shout out to some of the guys behind us. There's like 2 or 3 green traders today, and one of them is Obi. So we're going to give a big shout out to Obi right there and do that. Yeah, we'll try to get green on this side coming up right now. We're waiting on Palantir. We're still green on the name, but we did take that hit on RIVN, so we do have a realized L over here. That's about that. So we're just going to have to wait. I still have pretty much confidence in this, but you know, not overly right now that Palantir is going to hold these levels. So Disney's been a good one so far, and we're going to go, it looks like Palantir pending 142 over here. How's your day been going?
I have flat CGC. Obviously, Peloton was like a quick loss. Palantir is a small loss on that one, but relative to what we'd like to have been trading on it, like this feels like that first day on Carvana, where I came in thinking, okay, I'm going to take multiple shots at Palantir, and the one that went was the one that I got the least of. So it is what it is. And then the other 2 trades don't work out, but you end up basically flat. That said, I don't know what happened to NVIDIA there, but if you're going to show me a false breakout on AMD and then a consolidation at VWAP and NVIDIA tanks $15, AMD is going to do something. You know, like either it's going to hold and be relatively strong. I elected to make the VWAP short in here, risking about 30 cents, and we just got 70 pennies in there. I did not expect that. I thought I'd be trading NVIDIA, not AMD this morning, but I didn't see that move coming quite that quickly. Down to 893 was a low on NVIDIA. I'm going to take some more out in front of 155 on advanced micro devices, but that was quite the move down and a shocker on NVIDIA, which had been so strong yesterday, and then look at that massive drop. It gave up the entire range. So I jumped over to AMD. We're now 75 cents in the money. The first thing I did when I saw that wick was like, what can I get into? It just so happened that AMD was right there at VWAP.
Right, there we go. So there's a winner there. We got Disney over here. We got AMD over there. So far, so good. Let's wait to see what happens. We're still $1 in the money right now with Disney. Trying to let that thing go higher here. RIVN, too bad, man, because now it's right back, and we would actually have been positive on this name if it broke through 50, but we're still not there yet. Could be the short. Tesla was the mistrade of the day. As it was written, 183. It hits 183 and then tanks off of that. It would be a completely different day over here if we have that, but we don't, and that's trading, right? You can't, like we say, you can't have them all. We just have to have good ones. And so far here today, we're stuck with what we're trading. Palantir, Tesla, Amazon was another name. Anything else moving around? I do have NVIDIA. We wrote down NVIDIA. 890 was a level that we wanted to look at. It got down to 892. So again, missed opportunity by a couple bucks there as this goes up 7 from there right now. But yeah, so far, not that great. Like we said, we'll try to get green on these plays. And I keep going back to RIVN because part of me wants to still buy this name here today, as you guys know, but we don't want to get too carried away. Let me refresh my scanners and everything like that and see if we can find something. Come on, Palantir, let's go. We're long at 97 right now. Let's see if Palantir can get going. We've held it this whole way. We've been dip buying. We've been doing our best here for Palantir. I still think this name could be a real good one for us. It just needs to finally get going here. Palantir, we're locked and loaded. Looking for a nice move here higher. Breaking through O's would be the first part of it.
I'm still looking for that O's break.
Well, you're going to get it. So right now, get ready to get long through O's as Palantir's here at $22.
Yeah, this 99 cents. I'm back at VWAP just held on, almost said Palantir. Peloton. Yeah, I might make this a mistake a few times. Palantir, Peloton, both in play today. But it just held above VWAP. I was able to get some in at 16s and 17s, average price 17. I'm going to give it just underneath VWAP. But as you just mentioned, Palantir is right back at that 22 level. Just know that, you know, I'm not doing it intentionally if I make that mistake. But I just want this sucker getting through the 22. It's already put in a nice wick bottom, so the 2180 on the way back could make a little bit of sense. You never know where your bread is going to be buttered. But at the end of the day, like, you see a chip name move like that. I'm going to get into AMD. I should have also double-checked Micron and Intel. But underneath 155, I want to let this ride. AMD had a nice bottom in the afternoon at 154 quarters. And all the chip names got a rally right at the end of the day. I want to take it to that level on advanced micro devices. As I said, I probably should have looked at a couple of other names at the same time. You could have had VWAP on Micron. It didn't move quite as much, but that was a pretty clean trade. As NVIDIA just gave up 900 again. Looks like we're headed southbound. Only have one short on today. I can't sit here and be like I had a million short ideas. There were a lot of SSR bounce plays, let's be real. So you had the setups. Thankfully, we were able to find AMD, but that's just how it goes sometimes.
Again, the main short that we had on was Tesla, which hit basically perfect and didn't have it. So we'll wait to see if that comes back up. We'll take a little bit of a bid here on Palantir if we can. I was just looking at Apple. A nice day for Apple, man. I mean, we do have their event starting just soon, up 1.25%. This is why I kind of said stay away, other than potentially buying. What did I say? The pre-market bottoms, that came in right there to 183. So that could be something to look at. I'm going to stay away from Apple until we just hear more about their report or their conference that they're having right now. I'm not even getting filled at 90, so I'm going to punch in a little bit here on Palantir and also put some more bids a little bit lower because when we break, we're going to break, and there goes the break. So here it is into 2183 again. Here comes a move down. So they're selling Palantir off of that 22 top level. Remember what I said again, the best trade so far on Palantir today has just been the short off 22. Well, there it is again. It went to literally 222, and you could have got all you wanted short there, and I was just thinking break long. So we'll wait to see now if we can get into that 2163 level as the market's coming in, and that's going to lead me towards hopefully an NVIDIA long at some point here against 890. So we'll see if that's coming in right now. 891.50 or so is where we're bidding. See if we can catch a little bit of a dip buy opportunity here on NVIDIA trying to come through. So again, nice move down in the futures, starting to hit. I said today on the sticky note, I didn't see any catalysts really, and I feel like we've been dead right. The market is not doing anything. I mean, it had a nice move, and then there's the move now down in for NVIDIA and company. Let's see what we can have happen right now.
I accidentally typed Alibaba when I meant to go into Boeing, and now I really wish I hadn't typed Alibaba. Baba's down 3% and could be back to that $78 level that was so key in a little bit. Boeing is down 1%. They got bad news. Everybody heard it yesterday in the afternoon. Unfortunately, there was like falsified tests or something like that.
That was a good money.
But either way, like the short was great. It's not falling apart when the market's going down, so that is worth looking at here. I'm into Lucid, but Peloton just cannot hold on to VWAP. Look, I know there's other stuff moving like G-Sun and all that good stuff. First update on Lucid, the SSR bounce play that did come into play here. Just got some out there at 79s. Going to take some out at 81s, 82s. Actually, I'm sitting at 83, but probably going to put an offer at 81s, 82s. And if it breaks the top, maybe this is the squeeze play. That would be pretty ironic that Lucid with the bad report goes squeezing, and RIVN with the rumor does absolutely nothing. Let's go to the desk. We've got happening now on the start of the Apple event, too.
An Apple event should be starting at any moment now. Right now, they're just playing some music as we head into the Let Loose event. Expected to have some iPads, so definitely keep an eye on that. I'll let you guys know if I hear anything coming from that event once it officially begins. In terms of other things to keep an eye on today, we still do have earnings on watch. We had Fed's Kashkari as well, saying that the Fed's monetary policy might not be restrictive enough. So continuing with his generally more hawkish overtone there for Fed's Kashkari. No major economic data today beside the consumer credit number we're going to be getting at 3 p.m. So keep an eye on that. But other than that, some Fed's Kashkari speak and also a lot of earnings to keep an eye on. Crocs right now initially gapping down, now up about 9% on an earnings beat here for CROX. We have Datadog opposite here. They did have slightly lower than expected range here in the lower end of their range for their Q2 revenue and EPS outlook, down about 12% for DDOG. And last but not least, you're not an earnings move, but Peloton falling back a little here, but trading up about 15% on this news that they may have private equity firms eyeing them for a buyout. So keep an eye on PTON.
Now for Google, nice little move upside for Google.
Now?
Right there on Google off that button. What's up, Adara? Looking good in the corner there. All right, so nice move up to 170 right now for Google. Just trying to buy something off this dip opportunity into 169. We'll buy a little bit more here. I don't want, again, the market could be turning here, or it could just be bouncing around. And so I'm going to say the bouncing around part is something more that I'm about here, because until we really, I mean, we can sort of try to zoom in just a little bit here. That 18,160 is what we need to have break. And then even when you break that, whoa, where did the chart go? Even when we break that, we still have some kind of support down at 17.9. So that means that's going to be a huge drop. Anywhere from, again, the big level is 18,000, but you're up here at 18.2, trying to take out that top wick right now and really just bouncing around. I mean, here's a zoom in on what we're seeing right now. It's just hovering. So not much happening in the NASDAQ. I still feel like we said this would be a very strong stock pickers market here today. So I'm still feeling that way. We were a little too early on RIVN. This will be our L right now. Got taken out basically at the bottom of the day again. We tried it there, made so lost, well, it was basically flat on the first one, made back what we lost, and then lost it right there from 1050 down to 1038. So that was a bad stop for, not a bad stop, but that was the stop for us up to 1060. So sort of that is what it is right there. We'll make a little bit of money back, obviously, on Google, as you can see where this name's starting to go. Nice little bottom pick there. Let's wait for 170.50 on Google. And Disney's still that dollar in the money. Palantir trying to go as well down here, long 21.93. I was bidding 75, but I guess that may not come into play. So let's bid some 79s here as we're getting deeper here into Palantir pullback. I don't know, man. We're back down near the bottom of the day here for PLTR.
It's close to that next level. I mean, it's either, like I said, it's either for me above 22 or it's at 21.6. It's at 7s. Well, it bounced off 7s. It's at 79 now. It could come into play. I've got the trailing stop in. AMD just wicked and bounced off of afternoon support levels. So if it breaks higher into VWAP, like I'll get out here 155.10, try to lock in that buck, and then move on to the next. The other thing that's happening is a bit of a higher low on NVIDIA. So NVIDIA is holding 895 and trying to get through. So I'm going to get the trail out there on AMD, just kind of take it and run. Remember, the entire reason for this trade was NVIDIA had tanked 15 bucks. And this was a nice lower consolidation level where you could take the consolidation, giving it back into that local high, and just look for a sympathy play. So we've already gone ahead and done that. Lucid is still trying to go. It just made another tag of that top, but I already took some out of 79. Now we're looking for the 80s. Bad earnings for them. The Apple event has started. We'll keep I haven't heard a thing out of it, by the way. Like, I haven't heard anything from Benzinga. They're just talking about iPads. I suppose we'll get some pricing. But Apple's given up a couple of dollars in the last little bit. So be careful if you're trading this one. You know, we'll look to give you any news that we do get when it comes to Apple. And Palantir is now down at 21.6. So this was the next level. It was support, and if you're wondering why it was support, just go back on your 15-minute chart. The last bounce it had was May 1st off 21.6. I'm looking for a higher low off this 21.60.
Yeah, we finally into our sticky note level of 2160. So yeah, we're watching out for it right here. Of course, we're long at 83 when this has to happen. So all right, let's wait to see now what wants to happen with Palantir and some of these lower takes right now. Google's still working, Disney coming back a little bit. Now that I see Google fading just a little bit here, I'm wondering about putting an offer. Let's put an offer at 25. I was waiting for higher than that. We talked about 50, but we just kind of double topped there at 50. So we did miss that opportunity to come in there for Google up there at that high side. So here we go, man. It's put up or shut up time for PLTR, and it looks like it wants to shut up all the longs and get to the downside and continue to print out for the bears. So again, congratulations for any of the bears out there that have been able to make a little bit of money, or hopefully a lot of money, off of this move back down. We talked about that 22 fade and how good that was early, and then it happened again. We were able to get some out, but now we're dug in here into Palantir on this bid. So there it is. Yeah, you're welcome, Matthew, man. This guy's #1 trade is the Tesla short off 183. Salute to you and high five up on that one. We should have it, but we don't. You know, but you do. And for me, honestly, that's #2. I'd rather make money for myself than for you guys. But I am happy that you guys are seeing the success that we've been having lately and putting on some of the trades. So you know, all is well so far here. Let's go Palantir, man. Let's see if we can make something happen here on PLTR upside play.
It just made the bounce right off that. It was actually 60 evens, so that's that level on the 15-minute. I started putting offers above 75. The second I did that, like it goes up 10 cents and pulls right back in there. So you are pulling right back. Britt says, surprise, Neil's not into Intel. There's a really good answer as to why. The reason I traded AMD short was because NVIDIA was tanking. I looked at Intel, and Intel was doing this while NVIDIA was tanking, holding on to VWAP positively and actually trending up. So, you know, I wanted to short a chip name in sympathy to NVIDIA. This didn't give a setup, so you don't take it. So that was actually a really easy decision not to be involved in Intel. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. You know, and this time, I'm not going to sit here and digest why Intel's strong. But the market, you know, the market actually is up 0.3%, the NASDAQ, and Intel's had a rough ride of it as it goes. But AMD gave the win already. Now we're back into Palantir. We traded 22s, and then the only other level we had underneath that was going to be 21.6, so we've waited for that. Once it gets into the mid-70s, it's going to start taking some out on the way to, on the road, I would say, to VWAP. But yeah, lots is definitely moving here. I mentioned Boeing, I thought could be a secondary play. It's now starting to go and break some lows here on Boeing. Afternoon support, there wasn't much of any, but after that news happened, 176 was the higher low. If Boeing loses that, I think they're in a world of trouble. Adara, what's up?
Lots of iPad-related announcements as expected coming from the Let's Loose events. Tim Cook saying that this is the biggest day for iPads since their initial introduction. We now have Melody Kuna, who's the director of iPads for Apple, saying that they're adding the M2 to their iPad Airs. So M2 on some of the iPad Airs here. Keep an eye on AAPL, guys.
Yay, thank you, Rob.
NVIDIA's trying to go? No.
All right, here we go. NVIDIA 900 again right now. So, yeah, wow. We waited for 890 again, but we missed it. We were at 891.50. We got as low as 894 there. That very bottom was 89 deuce there to the bottom. So we'll wait for that one to come through. Google, we missed that out by 5 pennies, by 3 pennies. All right, so Apple's out right now with their Let Loose event. We talked about not trading off of this. I think that's the right thing to do. Let's just wait for it to settle down and for that event to be done, and then we'll start to look at Apple. I like the name, man, up 1.1%. I think that Warren Buffett sell all that stuff was way overblown. So we'll wait to see what happens there now with this name. But it's Palantir that's in a world of hurt again. Back down into 2160s again. It does not want to get going. This name is looking pretty sick, and I think this does break lower and lower and lower right now. Palantir can't get going. Every single move up keeps getting sold down. You're down 14% right now. SSR bounce is now obviously over with. So, yeah, we're kind of just sitting duck right now here, waiting for it to either hit us out for a quite a red day, or a nice little bounce back up to the upside. But like I said, we're here to trade, and we've been really doing well over the last little while. So, you know, we can afford an L here, but never want to take it. Palantir coming back in. Should have just turned those rose-colored glasses into red, and then we would have been a little bit better on this one. So nice downside move now for Palantir. There's the new pricing for the iPad Air at $599 coming out right now. So, again, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if that's a good price or not.
Well, I mean, I was looking for price action off of, they tell you the price and what does the stock do? I don't mean, not my opinion. I mean, I have an iPad, but someone else bought it for me like 50 million years ago. So it's actually, it's not moving. Apple did not break the range on the pricing, which we kind of thought would be the impetus for something to happen. Disappointing there. But GameStop, thank you in the chat for a couple of people pointing this one out. It's trying to go. We like V-shaped recoveries on squeeze names, and GameStop is also short-tail restricted. So day 2, it just put in a bid off 15 all the way up to double tap 16 even. Yeah, this is lining up for a 16 break while everyone's looking left. Well, I mean, looking at other stocks.
I knew that was going to happen.
GameStop is right
No.
there. Palantir's not going to hold on to the 60. So there it goes.
No.
And I actually just, yeah, there we go. I'm just going to punch out. My stop did not hit, so I just punched out manually 1 cent lower than I should have, but it doesn't matter. We play the 60 level. We're going to take the L. At the end of the day, it's been a good setup, but the best trade was that first 22, but that was the hardest one to get because it tagged underneath to like 21.90, and the second I tried to go long, I didn't get anything until like 22 11s or 12s, and it just, you couldn't get the evens. Maybe, you know what, a program probably would have done it, or like a stop order would have had a better chance. I was trading it manually. The stop order was probably the way to go, actually.
Yeah, it kind of sucks because we'll only have a couple positive names here today. AMD, Neil, Disney for me, Google for me. And other than that, man, it's kind of like just sitting here.
But just keep your risk management or just wait for the next play.
Yeah.
That's why I went to GameStop, because GameStop was a great bounce play yesterday. And it's got like a typical breakout setup. Like it's just, there's your higher low, it could bounce off VWAP. Come to the chart for a second. Yeah, there's your higher low, it could bounce off VWAP, and then you're sort of taking out tops on a squeeze name, which is what you'd rather be doing, which is playing off of some strength. At the end of the day, like AMD, thankfully, is going to be able to make up for most of it, and then CGC and Lucid are basically like flat trades. But I'm still looking for that next trade. I liked GameStop yesterday on a bounce. You're not going to get 15s now, but a breakout through 16. This local high is actually 16.03, so I'd probably take an 05 break instead of an even 16 break on GameStop here.
All right, we're trying to be patient here as much as we possibly can. I don't know if you guys can tell that. So we're going to try to do that to our best of our ability, especially with Palantir. All right, nice little bounce up off of the 50 period here for Google. Let's see if it wants to continue to go. Hopefully this market does continue to do a little something special here and get back to the upside. We had said this on our sticky note today that no real reason. There was not much economic news hitting. There was very, very little Fed speak. And realistically, not much happening at all, except for me picking the wrong stocks right now. Grab some Uber and do your thing. Yeah, you know what? I mean, yeah, we are. I mean, I'm still looking for more opportunities. The RIVN one, it's too bad because RIVN's really bounced. And we got out at the bottom there for a hit. But at the same time, it's like I'm waiting to see if we can get bounces basically just in this market. We held VWAP at 18.2, but look what we're doing now, back to flat, or back to the 50 period and not trying to go. So that's a problem. Palantir just broke through 60 and then just got hit right back down again. So every time Palantir goes up, it gets hit back in. We really only had one run in this name all day. There was the initial sort of bounce early, that's fine. But then there was this little run there where we were able to take something out at 98s or 99s there. And then since then, it's just been nothing. We had one little move back there where we got long on, and now there's the dip into 50s. And it just looks like it wants to continue the sell-off to the downside. But as Neil said, you got to make sure you have some winners on board as well. So we'll spend some money now. We're 70 cents in the money on Disney, and we're 50 cents in the money on Google. So if you followed me, hopefully you're 2 for 2. And then as we discussed, share size management, very, very key. But again, if you trade with small shares and you take small hits, then you don't have big wins either, right? So you got to be careful with that. Watch your share size, but make sure that you put on big shares or at least more shares on opportunities that you like. So to me, that's the whole thing. Find the better opportunities. I like this Google dip, so we got some shares there. We would have liked to get more if we came down to 50, so hopefully that will happen. But yeah, we are going to take an L, and a pretty good one here on Palantir if it keeps on going lower, and it looks like we're pennies away from breaking that 21.50, so it looks like we'll take about a 28-cent hit on a position it's not like a maximum position, but it's a pretty big one here for Palantir. So yeah, we'll lose what we made. Actually, on this trade alone, we'll lose our whole day yesterday. So, you know, oh God, now there's someone chasing Palantir down. So yeah, it looks like
that's just because they can't hit the bid.
And to me, that's proper. To me, that's proper risk management. You know, willing to on a day lose what you made. Yesterday, we made a lot of money there late yesterday. So we'll give a little bit back, go flat over the last 2 days, and then work on it from there. So we'll see what happens here with PLTR. Looking like it just wants to, it is going to break. And I have it to get out at 75% of this as we break through 50s. So yeah, it's going to be bad. That level's not going to hold. So it's going to be gone. Breaking through 50 there for Palantir. And it's a give back. And that's real honest trading from a trader that makes money. You have to risk money to make money. So that's what we're doing here today. And congratulations to once again to all the shorts. We could be humble enough to admit that we've lost on this, the amount that we've lost, and to congratulate all that sort of went the other way. So congratulate to everybody there on Palantir that went there. This is what we do. It's real trading from a real trader. Right back at you guys.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And I think, like, at the end of the day, like, it's not going to, it hasn't broken 21.50 yet. I'm about to say it's not going to hold, but I had 3 levels I wanted to trade it at. The next one is so far down that it's almost unlikely it gets to $20.50, but it's not completely impossible that that's going to be the case. But you risk what you do on the other SSR plays, and it's been one that has worked out in the past. But this time it's just a little bit too heavy. I am back into AMD here, just watching NVIDIA try to hold on to the 900 as AMD just got right back into VWAP, wicked VWAP. So I jumped in with basically the same short, giving it to the local high, and we'll just go back into it. The first time we took it, we got trailed out of the last little bit, and then it gets right into VWAP. If there's strength in the chip names, it's weird to say, but Intel just took out the high of the day and looks like a buy the dip scenario. The market, the NASDAQ's green and heading toward the top. So there's some things that are strong here when you're not catching falling knives, and I'm here to tell you that the Intel, for once, is actually one of those stocks. The breakout was at 31.25. I just canceled the VWAP bid, and I'm going to look to get into this one on the first available dip. Intel has now broken through at least the recent resistance, and you have a couple of days and a slight upward trend in this stock, believe it or not. Adara?
M4 being announced for these Apple iPad Pros, skipping from M2 from the air to M4 for the Apple Pros for what they're going to be powered by. 50% faster CPU than the M2. So interesting look there for M4 as iPad Pro AAPL, guys.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's going to be great news for Apple, I think, in the long term when we actually get the real. I mean, everyone's a little bit excited for this, but I think everyone's going to be really excited for June, because I think that's kind of the bigger event. The price action is now starting to go upside on Apple. Like, it just took VWAP, so I wanted it to make a move post-event and then try to join it. So if it holds VWAP, like whatever you think about it, I think you just want to work with the trend. The only thing new I got into was AMD, as you guys can see here, as that's right back into VWAP. And Boeing, it said there could be a continuation for Boeing if it failed support at 176. Like, yeah, I guess that was the right level. Boeing did the other thing. It bounced clean off 176. No flat bottom break, bounces clean. It's back at those highs. Okay. We'll have to wait out Boeing.
Yeah, Boeing, pretty bad move there over the last couple months for Boeing.
SPR reported.
They'll figure that out. Yeah, Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airlines trying to go bankrupt, so Boeing can buy them dirt cheap. That's probably the play there that's happening, I believe. Okay, so here go. Oh shoot! I didn't get the order in. I wanted to take Apple long through. Okay, so we'll just punch in right there. I want to take 25 long, breaking this level right there through. But they're still going on right now. So you know, they're still talking that chip, seeing a nice spike in activity. So let's go back in. Oh well, not back in. We're into Apple now for the first time. We want to play the strength. We really love this name. We're long this name at 169, and right now it's 185. We were going to sell a little bit here today because I was like, you know what, I gotta pay for some things here. These kids of mine, wow. But yeah, we'll watch out for this one. Like we just got my son in golf camp for 1 week there over the summer. So we have hockey camp, golf camp. There's a Dungeons and Dragons camp he's doing, which should be really fun for the nerd in him. But yeah, so far so good here.
Strategy game, Fabian.
It is a strategy game, yep. And here we go to the upside now. We are long Apple. We're waiting to get something out at 50 now on an Apple log. So switch our game up. Palantir downside, obviously. Let's see what happens now with Apple. Hopefully some upside love. I'm sitting there at 48, and it just keeps on bouncing literally off of 45. So hopefully one more bounce up, and we'll get that. And then dropping this out if we do go back into VWAP for a minute there. Apple 183.50 or so. Watching out for that play now.
Get up, Apple. I want it to go because, I mean, obviously we all own it in our long-term account. But yeah, a little surprise.
And swing account.
Oh, yeah, well, some in the swing account. I only own it in my RRSP, not in the TFSA is what we refer to as a swing account. I just got a first leg out there in AMD. I'm going to put another bid at 155 even. We're short at 84s here as NVIDIA is right back into lows, and we made the same trade off of VWAP. NVIDIA is very weak right now, down 3% and still going. Let's get to the small cap recap at the screen with Adara.
Quite a few small cap runners today. This one, Motorsport Games, MSMG, running up ahead of its earnings expected tonight after the close. Keep an eye on this one. Oh, sorry, MSGM. We also have next up here ZKIN, ZK International Group, closing its $5 million financing with CF Opportunity, priced at $159 a share. So ZKIN. Last but not least, quite a few smaller cap earnings names today and watch, including Hims and Hers Health, HIMS. But up here I have Celsius holding CELH. This one trading lower, but definitely giving some opportunities here after posting a sales miss and EPS beat here, guys.
Hims and hers. You know what? There was a couple people on the floor looking at that stock, but yeah, giving up the gains. But we always like when something makes a good reversal bottom. I talked about it on GameStop, but yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough. GameStop is right back in the pocket. It just bounced off VWAP, so that breakout's still in play. It just hasn't happened yet on GME. And Intel just put a heck of a reversal in there. But a lot of people, you guys, you're looking at NVIDIA. I'm watching them too because I'm in the short end on AMD at the VWAP because it's set up nicely. I came in thinking we'd have another potential breakout play on NVIDIA where I'd try to join the trend. And what happens when it doesn't break and put any higher lows in? Well, there's no trend up. The trend is to the downside. So we're only in one short as this continues to fall on NVIDIA. As long as that happens, I'm going to hang on to this in AMD. Palantir is still sort of just chilling out. And RIVN, what are you doing? It's very, very close to yesterday's close where it would give it all back at 10.25. That's about the only level at this point that would be left to try to defend any kind of a long. But NVIDIA's trying to put some kind of a bid in, and I still want to get some VWAP on Intel. For whatever reason, it's trending to the upside. The reasons don't matter. The trend is what does at this point.
I actually thought the Apple event was sort of done there, but they're still unveiling more and more things here. Coming after Adobe apparently right now is Apple. So we're long here. It's right into VWAP right now. So yeah, okay. It's not a huge position, but we have a position now, and it looks like this continues to go down. I thought I wanted to wait until the end of this thing, but it looks like that's not happening right now. So here comes a move down in for Apple. Let's get out if it breaks 50 and just regroup on that one. I thought it was over with, and it's not yet. So it's only a half hour in. I don't know why I would have thought that. But there it goes to the upside now. Sorry, to the downside into 183.50 goes Apple. Not great. Where are we long? We're long at O's here. So let's, if we can get something out at 80, maybe we'll just try to get out a piece. And then if it goes back up to the upside on some kind of good news, then great. But we came pretty close to getting stopped out there. So if we can make halfway back on not a very smart play, it's like being inside something like when there's an earnings call or something like that. I mean, this is maybe even more dangerous than an earnings call because of pricing announcements that nobody knows about and new products. So we're going to get out here if it breaks below 185 or 183.50, which is going to happen right now. So a 50-cent cut here on Apple looks like will be in store for us. On that, see, here it comes, on that break. So I'm not hearing anything in my ear right now, but yeah, talking a little bit about Adobe and I guess Apple releasing some kind of a software competitor maybe, I don't know, but Adobe's nicely done.
Well, the weird news is,
okay, so they've made it better, is what they're saying. So right now, from Ramin there in our ear, Apple always has some kind of a product like that. But for right now, that's one of the new adjustments or enhancements to their new iPad, I guess. So here we go. Nice move to the downside. Looks like it wants to take 183.50. We're out when it does, which apparently is going to be right now. My bad on that one. We want to wait for Apple to settle down. There it goes. So we'll wait for this one to settle down here. After the report is when we want to get in on this.
yeah, and not settling down because logic would dictate that the stock that's strong today is not NVIDIA. It's somehow GameStop. We're trying to go green again. It did the wipeout bottom 15, higher low. There's the breakout. I'm long 7 change, like 7 quarters in here after it took out 16.05. And if it's going to squeeze, it's going to have to get past that afternoon zone, like 16.40. Remember the breakout in the afternoon? That one that was like so quick and like instantly went 30, 40 cents in the money and then retraced the move? So I think that spot has to be where we get to. It did the same thing at the close and did the same thing right in here where you just had to get that quick move. Looking for something very similar on GME. It is short sell restricted. I mean, that can't hurt it at the end of the day. But when it's all said and done, looking pretty weak yesterday, but now getting a bit of a relief rally. AMD, we scalped some more out there when NVIDIA, here, I might as well just put these charts side by side. NVIDIA put in a nice wick bottom and then bounced, got back above that 895 zone. And when it did, I took some more out when this had another higher low. So I don't think AMD is as weak as I would like off of this NVIDIA sympathy. So we're going to get a more shallow win, and I'm not going to reload it. So I'm just going to get out, stay green on it. It came out of nowhere to be a good one for me today because NVIDIA happened to reverse nastily to the downside. But now that NVIDIA is showing strength, I'm just going to get out if this takes 156.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not hearing nothing out of that Benzinga. I'll have to restart mine like you did. But Apple looks like it's moving back in. That event, I don't know what time it's done, but I suspect that might be a good zone for a retracement play on Apple.
Yeah,
whenever it does
we're gonna
finish.
try right now to go a little long on Apple down here, but yeah, the long has not been right. That's for sure. We'll see. I mean, good thing we got out there on the 200 period break. We've said that before. Sometimes we should be getting short, you know, when all hell breaks loose on some of these names. All right, here we go. Apple trying to figure it all out right now. But if you're going to look for some levels, we are back into the 200 period. The 50 period here on the 5-minute chart. 182.50 is a huge level, I thought, for Apple. I mean, we bounced around there basically yesterday as the top and then started to come back into the close into 181, made our way all the way back to 182, and then now today, a huge move up. And I was surprised by that move up. We had sort of talked a little bit about that, but here comes Apple right back into 182. We're going to look out for 182.50 right now, but yeah, nice little push down. Good thing we had gotten out of that, but we're back in it, which doesn't appear to be a very good thing. So we'll now wait to see if Apple can get back up to the upside. We're going to leave Palantir alone. A quick check on another stock that really hasn't done much since the open. Nice move down for Rivian. Another bottom there, but to try to stay away from that one might be a different story. We were a buyer of Roblox down there at 34 or so. Wow, $41 right now for Roblox. Huge move heading into earnings for this name as well. There's the move down to $34, $35. We didn't get long. It's just these were the levels that we were talking about on Roblox. We still own this one in our account from a long time ago. That's Roblox. We initially bought that on IPO, then bought some a little bit higher. And we had I remember buying this name at $90, and then they had like a $40 earnings call. It went up to like 130 or 140, and that was like, wow. And I think that was pretty much near the tops for that one. Okay, I mean, hey man, maybe we get Apple back here a little bit. Let's put something in and around 06s for a nice little move back upside right now and take a little bit of money back. We'll be red, obviously, unless this name can get back into the 184 range. But right now, Apple trying to bounce. We'll take some pieces out. Actually, I'll have to watch out for that comment. We should be able to get green above there. Uh-oh. Stormy Daniels about to testify. Let's see what's going on with DJT right now as there's a storm brewing in this account right now. 49 coming through. Watch out for DJT, and let's watch out for Adara as we go over to the desk.
Crypto apparently looking like it's going to be finishing its post-halving danger zone of the 3-week period after the halving, according to some Bitcoin analysts here, as reported by Cointelegraph, basically saying that the fact that Bitcoin's now risen above that 65,000 mark as of yesterday, there could be some opportunities now for future strength in Bitcoin, especially after that post-halving period of volatility that we had with that halving on April 20th. Bitcoin itself right now back below that 64,000 area, just treading water above 63,000. Last few days, we've seen these wicks to the upside followed by closes a little bit lower. So Bitcoin seeing some strength above 64, but not necessarily able to hold it in the last few days. Ethereum here also a little bit weaker on the day, down about 1.5%. Just above 3,000 level, and a lot of these other crypto-related names pretty weak as well. Ripple up about just under 1%, but Dogecoin, Cardano, Shiba Inu, Avalanche, Solana, all to the downside, guys.
Yeah, just keep an eye on MAR in the afternoon, as I mentioned at the open. I know it's been range-bound, but it is supposed to be added to an index, so you might see a little bit extra volatility going into that close. That's specific to MAR, has nothing to do with anything else in crypto. GME, again, the breakout doesn't go on this one, but I'm going to have my tight stop. Relatively speaking, a breakout's going to be different from a dip buy, but it cannot hold above that 1590, so we risk about 15 pennies on that one and just take it out. Like, we have AMD, and that's about it. And I'm flat because every single other one adds up to what we got there on AMD. And even advanced micro devices, like suddenly, like I just made, it's not the top wick because I mean the high of the day is the top wick, but on that last move, when NVIDIA was back through 895 and tracking to 900, I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. and tighten it up and not reload, and AMD still in the same pocket. I'm into Intel going long into some VWAP, and it looks to me like Disney is still, like it's still tracking. It has not turned SSR, but if it were to punch through the current low, then it would tag. It's about 104.80 or so would be the short sell restricted mark for Disney. That's what we're waiting around for. Do we like NVIDIA long? I mean, that's a pretty hefty wick bottom for NVIDIA. I'd like it better if it could find a bit above 900. It's a big psychological level for it to get above there. I'm not taking any 900 breakouts. You know what happened in the 900 breakout yesterday? It was a dip buy that was a much better way to go with the trend. Disney short new low. I'm not shorting the bottom when it's that close to short sell restricted. I think with that one, if you had the thesis, which I'm not here to tell you that I did, that you wanted to go short into it, it gave you one, I think maybe one chance. It popped right into the opening range or the pre-market of resistance here at 108, and that was the only level that it really got to that you could short off of that I can see. And now it's right at those lows, so I'm not going to take a chance there.
All right. Yeah, for some reason we're stupidly trying to get into Apple right here again. Yeah, Disney. I mean, I was looking at Disney too. We're still in this name. Again, it'll be a positive name for us, but trying to get this name going here, we already got a grayed out at VWAP, and we really haven't seen that. We've talked about earnings plays, and I think this is really the best thing to do. I'll have a look at Palantir and see how that looks. But again, playing it back to VWAP once we're opened on the day, right? So forget about in the pre-market. There's a lot of stuff that's happening. We have the conference call there. We're able to get that dip buy, which was great, which led us to all this. We do have a stop when it broke 105.50, but then we bought it right back on that wick candle in the first 5 minutes. But now you're right back into that exact same area. So I'm going to wait for something down here to see if we could retest that level of 105.30. So that's an area for me to look at down there, 105.30 for a little bit of a reload. And okay, here we go. We are reloaded now. We'll take another piece out there on Apple. They're not releasing anything that's of magic. It's funny because it's Apple Pencil Pro Magic or something like that. I don't hear it in my ear. I hear some of you guys talking about that. Yeah, they're nothing. They're just more things to add to the ecosystem to help make you, I guess, produce better quality things on your iPad, I guess. And they talked about that with Adobe and all that kind of stuff coming through. So here we go. Another good out for us on Apple. We're long now at 78. Let's put another offer here at 96. Just stopped up there. Maybe, okay, see, maybe we can get a blast higher there. We'll take out about 20% of this long as we've just been buying these dips, but still potential for this to go. Really, I just want this conference to end. This gives me those feelings, and I don't think it's going to end anytime soon, I guess. This gives me those feelings of Fed Day, where I just wanted that dude to leave the podium, and then we absolutely rocked the rest of that day. So I think that could be the case for Apple. Let's just sort of digest all that news and get ready to rock and roll here, hopefully on an upside move now for Apple, Google, Disney, both longs, trying to find some shorts. It could be NVIDIA there at 900, but I was actually looking at a long break for NVIDIA, breaking through this VWAP here at like 905-ish. It's not looking that bad, or this top break at 903 also as a possibility. I just don't want to punch the long. I got the long in Apple. If the market falls off right now, if the market's doing absolutely nothing, sort of as predicted, we said it would be a stock picker's day, and I've just picked the wrong two here, dancing with Palantir. It was really just Palantir, but also RIVN wasn't good off the open, and now we have to deal with Apple as a potential mover one more time. So some good outs there for Apple, but it's 10:37, and there ain't a whole heck of a lot happening right now, other than what's up, Vic Jan?
Well,
I can short on Palantir.
Yeah, I mean, the short on Palantir has been a great one, and shout out to anybody that had it. I was looking for, obviously, a couple of bounce plays on it. The first one good, the next three not. I'm into Nikola because it bounced, actually, and I didn't think we'd have a shot at this, but it just, like they reported this morning, you can see that it tanked. Generally speaking, I want to short it off of previous support levels, so once it got up here into the mid-60s, I like it to 63, so I've gotten in once at 61. I'll let it move into 62, maybe 62.5, and then try to add in front of that 63 level, play it under VWAP. And obviously, Nikola is a risk of squeezing like any penny stock, but this is one that's been trending down nicely. Let's go back over to the desk, Adara.
So Tim Cook right now just wrapping up the iPad presentation. Just to wrap everything up, we have, for the first time, two sizes of the iPad Air. There is the iPad Pencil or the Apple Pencil Pro as well. Lots of new additions for the iPad Pro with regards to Final Cut and video editing software ideas. They also have the iPad Mini. So Tim Cook just kind of summarizing, saying this is the best iPad lineup they've ever had. So that looks like that's the end of these Apple event, guys, just to clarify and summarize what went down.
All right, well, now that it's over with, we can finally be back into this name. We did get stopped out because it did break lower, but then we heard right away that it was out, that they were done, so we did get back in. So we'll kind of wash on our last position, so now we need to get some out here to make something back where we just got stopped out on the downside, but now we're back in at 38. So we got stopped out. We talked about that breaking 50. We bought it back there on the event, finally being over and done with now. Let's see if Apple can get back up to the upside. Disney also dropping back into this level as well. So here we go, Disney and Apple, right now the two names that are on my mind.
Yeah, on my mind going to be Intel at VWAP, and of course we already mentioned Nikola to the downside. Another earnings play today. There's so many of them in here. Palantir, I see someone in the chat there, it's like Richard V, Palantir bouncing. So here's the thing about Palantir. Is at this point, I need to see either the level I want or actual signs of strength. This is the first time it's done like any kind of a rounding phase. You actually have a double bottom of sorts and then a higher low. So that is a pretty solid setup for it to be able to break out from. But then even then, I'd still be looking at VWAP on any bounce play, given the trend that this does have. Let's get on over to Adara for Sector Watch. And
Check
tell
out
us
those sectors.
Tell us how Lily's doing today.
Nice look for Eli Lilly here, falling off some strength yesterday as well for LLY. So nice look in general for a lot of these health technology stocks. Generally, though, for looking at this board as a whole, Sean was just saying that there's not a lot happening in this market right now. I would agree. We're slightly positive in the day, and that reflects on these sectors. Finance, slightly positive. Producer manufacturing, retail trade, consumer non-durables, commercial services, health services, producer industries, utilities. All of these are generally going to be pretty green. We have a couple sectors that are a little bit more mixed, though, here. Consumer services, mixed to negative. I would argue it looks like the weakest performing stock of the day right now. Starbucks continuing its weakness from last week after that earnings miss. Disney now trading after its revenue miss today as well, trading a little bit lower and bringing the stock to the downside. Energy minerals pretty flat here today. Communications pretty flat. Consumer durables generally looking pretty flat to green, but Tesla bringing this one to the downside with those disappointing China sales numbers for the month of April. And pretty mixed as well for our tech sectors here. Meta, a little bit downside on technology services, but generally pretty mixed to strong. And we also have electronic technology, Apple just wrapping up its iPad event, not doing too much. The rest of the sector has some green semiconductor names with the notable exception of NVDA, guys.
All right, we bought Disney down here, and we just been selling some of that on the upside there as Disney trying to get really interesting down here right now. So yeah, we're long at 105.17 now for Disney as we waited for that 105 to come in because that was going to be our stop down there at 105. So we'll hold out to see if it can work now. But yeah, Disney fighting that SSR area of being down 10 right now. We're trying to support that long. I don't know about that. And then right now, Apple trying to make new lows. We did buy it back. We did talk about that. It did get into the 60s again. We did get some out. We got some out into 50s, but we're still holding about half of that reloaded position. So let's see if Apple can get back up to the upside right here today. I mean, it kind of sucks. We'll have AMD as a green name. We'll have Google. And then right now, we could go red actually on Disney as well. So let's wait to see what happens. There goes Disney breaking through that 105. So there it is. So we will go red. So two names green anyways, Google here, and that's about it for me. We're going to have to wait to see if Apple gets back going. Now 15 cents in the money. We need an upside push here for Apple to get this one going. But yeah, that Disney short, really good one, breaking through 105 now, trying to get to that SSR level. Not a great day trading so far here.
You got to just try to stay in the pocket with them. So The first smiley face just happened on Palantir, and it's right back at the level we liked before. So it ends up putting in a low at 21.35. The issue with picking a falling knife is that you can find strength in the stock at the level you like, but it might not be on the way down. It could end up on the way up. So it just put in that bottom. Now you have a bit of a higher low right at that 21.6. So I'm in it, not to the low of the day. This is to the local high at 45. So again, every single time I've been in this, I've had about 10. The only time I didn't have about 10 cents worth of risk was at the open when I couldn't get the fill at 22 even. And I actually got like 22 10s. But VWAP is still going to be the play. That's up at like 21.90. So we're going to get some out 70s, 80s, and obviously if it gets to that 90 level, the trend is still to the downside. And if this can't get to VWAP, then clearly it's in a world of hurt. NVIDIA is holding on to 900. Yeah, this one has a chance now. It's holding a higher low. It's trying to break this break. It needs to get into VWAP. Let me just double check AMD. AMD, probably a good thing to get out of it. Now this is holding VWAP as well. I have Intel at 27. It's at 19. It's pretty much at VWAP. And this is almost as strong here on AMD. Don't want to flip thinking about longs on that one just yet. But Palantir will take a fifth shot at it at this point. But each time, have a pretty defined risk. It's not to the low of the day. A lot of times it's bounced, give it to the low, give it to the higher low. I'm giving it to this higher low at 45s. If it breaks that, it's probably just going to hit the low anyways.
All right. Yeah, and again, thanks, Brad, and everything like that. Yeah, it is good to see that we're trading more like a human and can actually make some bad calls every once in a while. But we're still going to sit here. I think 1 in 4, it's not horrible. I mean, you guys can ask us at any time, what we are, if we're red or green on names. I mean, we're sitting here talking about them to you. So without disclosing, share size, you can at any time ask us, what we are up or down on names, anything like that, and no problem telling you that's true of any of the traders here, and that's sort of one of our policies. All right, so 182.65 here for Apple, starting to go back up to the upside. You can see we've just taken a little bit more of a relaxed look now. We wanted to wait for that to be done. So now that it's done, we'll go back there up to the upside and let's see what's going on now with Apple. I mean, potential move all the way up. I mean, potential move. Now that they're done, they could digest everything. What exactly was that event all about? Was it a nothing burger? I hope so, because then I feel like we can get back to where we were pre-10 o'clock. Some kind of announcement, done. So it could be the other way around for sure. Apple could continue weakness. We talked about the day that it had yesterday, again, with a little bit of a gap down into 180 or so. On, news that was taken, it was just by sort of Berkshire came out and said, there was tax purposes, this and that. But yeah, Apple just had a huge day there on Thursday and Friday with that report on Thursday. So huge move up there to 186. Top on Friday. We blasted to 187 early. I mean, what a move. They bottomed out around 164, I believe, for Apple, somewhere around there, and then just bang to the upside on that report, hits 187, hits 186. Then they get that report there about a nice downside sell-off from Berkshire, still holding like hundreds of millions of shares. So all good there. And then now today we have that let loose event. So we let loose a little bit here, which was horrible, which is why we're down on Apple. So getting long there, I thought I heard the event was done, which was so stupid. And then I was like, well, I got to hold it back to the 200 period. Then it broke. It's a good thing we got out. Pretty much back and forth in here. And then now we'll still take the L, man. If this breaks that day's low, then we're going to get out of here and try to regroup a lot lower in case this market has, I don't know.
It's actually market going higher.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't overly bullish, obviously, today, but
I didn't have a super, this is the individual way the tech stocks are going to go bias today, because everything was like SSR plays and earnings plays. It wasn't really all about where the market's going to go. And Disney did just tick down 10%. As you can see here, it's down just just a little bit underneath the 10% mark. So if it gets back above 105, then that's where I'm going to get in. Stop is going to go at the low. So we'll see what happens. And keep in mind, something bouncing SSR isn't just sit at the level and it automatically goes from there. It's, to me, a long has to set up. And we mentioned this yesterday, very specific. GameStop was a specific example yesterday at lunchtime for this one. Like, I was in the short in GameStop. It went 10%, like, I don't know, somewhere around here. But then this happened at 14 even. It set up a decent long that didn't work out. You can see it hold 14. There's your higher low. You get in long there. It breaks the bottom. Then it gave the same long setup and broke the top. And at 14, the second time through goes to VWAP. It's not always about catching a falling knife. It's about looking for a risk to reward entry. Just like any other trade, you still have to have an out no matter what. Like, it's not just, oh, it goes 10%. I'm going to get long and it's going to go from here. Never that simplistic. Every trade has to have an in, has to have an out, all that good stuff. So now that it's made the wick, if it gets beneath 104.5, then I would adjust, you know, where the stop is going to be. But if it's above, it gets back above 05, I'm going long with a stop at the low of the day, which currently sits at 104.60 on Disney, that is.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to go long. I am long Disney now. Just breaking through 105 again. So here we go. I know Neil just broke it down. I mean, we were trying to buy this the other time, and it didn't work out for us. So we're going to go long again right here on Disney just to see where we go on this one. It does have a lot of room to the upside, but again, being down that 10%, never a good story. So we'll get out if it breaks back down below that 104.80 or so, right there. And again, just to talk about how the strategies are going to be a little bit different, right? Like for each of us. So with me right now, have probably, again, numerous times the amount of shares. So I'm just trying to get out quickly here on Disney. We've already lost on this name. This is a good move back. We are now well up on Disney. Disney just on this, even if I just get it out right now, this is the difference I'm talking about with different styles. Now Disney will go P&L number 1 for the whole day for any stock we've all traded, and that's just on this one move right now. So there it is right there. Put Disney back in the pocket. You're right, Ramin, right there. She goes, let's go money, money, money. It's money talks. And there it is, man. Your boy is back with a big trade right there. Thanks, Neil. He talked about that trade as well. It's a big one. It's a moneymaker. It's Disney. PL number 1 on one play right there back through 105. Good job there, Neil. Talked about that SSR bounce. Glad we have that one. All is well now. And we also get a nice move up for Apple right now. So let's go, man. Let's bring some spirit back into this market and get back to the upside. We knew we wanted the long on Apple when the event was done. Thankfully, it's done now, and the Apple long can once again remain in play. So nice move back for Apple. We'll just take a little piece out right there. Ooh, man, that's a good one. We just made back a decent spot right there on some of these plays. So Disney, well telegraphed there. Good explanation by my guy Neil over here. And a nice position sizing for me as we get to the upside now on Disney. So well done, Neil, and always well done over on the other side. It's Miss Adara. Thank you, BPI. Much appreciated. Let's go over there.
After closing right above that 105 area, that previous support and resistance that we've seen going back to November 2023, on Friday, we've had now not one but 2 doji candles starting to form here just above that 105 on the DXY daily chart. So definitely a little bit stuck in place, which makes sense because we don't really have a lot of data coming this week. What we do have, though, are comments from Fed's Neil Kashkari, who has been known to move the market. He's a little bit more hawkish. He's set to speak at 11:30. Coming today, so keep an eye on Neil Kashkari in less than 1 hour. He did release an essay earlier today ahead of these comments, basically saying that he believes the slow GDP is due to inventories and net exports, and has said a couple things about the tightness of the economic policy, saying that he's quote, modestly raised his neutral rate estimate from 2 to 2.5%. So he's raised his neutral rate estimates, saying that he could see need for a tighter policy, and says he questions the policy restrictiveness, basically saying that the housing market in particular is proving more resilient to the monetary policy than previously thought. So keep those comments in mind when we get official comments and a speech from Fed's Kashkari at 11:30, guys.
So very quickly, Carpe Diem, relax 100%. First of all, I love that. I love that name.
Love that.
It works
Love
really
that.
well. Do you always have a stop loss in the system or sometimes a mental one? In the system, 90, I don't want to say everything is a certainty, but 99.9 repeating percent of the time. Look, if I'm saying my stop is at 104.60, the only thing that might be different about that is I might put it at like the price at 55 or like 57, like a cent or two underneath that price. But there's a hard stop down there. And on top of that, once the scalp part of the move has happened on an SSR bounce play, now that it's gone to 105.5, the stop is now at 105. Like I moved the stop up on this type of a play. That's just the way that I'm trading this setup. And the market's getting into this high and continuing to go. Wow, we're going to get... Like the NASDAQ's gonna blow out the top, and I feel like we spent so much time looking at falling knives that it's been a little bit deceiving because overall this NASDAQ has been basically chilling out. Meta's about to go green. We always talk about relative strength and weakness. Usually at 10 o'clock, I'm going over, hey, this stock is relatively strong, that stock is relatively weak. I didn't do that today. That's on me. Meta above VWAP, that looks pretty solid. You've already mentioned Google. But I wanted to get to Softy, which had good news yesterday. Unfortunately, it's not going, although it's got some higher lows to boot. But Disney, it's really just about the setup. Obviously, Palantir is going to stink. I've been long Palantir 5 times, and we'll go 1 for 4. Disney, if we get to 106, we'll be half up what we're down on Disney, just kind of keeping that risk to reward. Better. If I had traded Palantir once and Disney once, then we'd be up between the two. But hey, man, I knew I was going to trade Palantir more than one time. Oh yeah. That was just the way it was going to go. I felt the same way about Carvana the other day. Like I was like dreaming about Carvana. Well, maybe not. I woke up, I was in the shower thinking about Carvana after their earnings. I knew I was going to take multiple shots at it, whether it works or not. And I felt the same way about Palantir, regardless of how things shape out. And Palantir did set up again. And I did grab the long. My stop is right under here, 21.45. It just wicked that level by a couple of pennies and didn't take me out. So we're still in it looking for VWAP on Palantir. Same setup, essentially as Disney, but the difference being multiple swings at it, whereas we only got into Disney just once, unfortunately. Is what it is, but Palantir day's not over. NVIDIA is now through 900. Yeah, NVIDIA is, maybe NVIDIA's going to do one of those days today. It's now finally above VWAP. NVIDIA's starting to look a little better. When it was in a downward trend, I really didn't want any part of it. I wanted it to show me the upward trend.
Look, guys, honestly, we've traded, I told you it's been a hard day, man. We've traded 14 names. We have 3 positive names today. It's not been an easy day for breakouts, for dip buys, for anything. So thank you for bearing with us, man. Tough day. But like Neil said, man, keep it in the pocket. Keep your trades where they need to be. And, you know, look to maybe scalp out. Not every day has to be a huge day. But here goes the NASDAQ back into highs. So we've got 2 good longs, I think. We've got Google. So we talked about 2 positive names today, Disney and Google for me right there. So we're going to go 2 and 3. But bigger hits because Palantir, we held on that one, and we held on that one decently. We told you we lost yesterday on Palantir. Then we're going to be down on RIVN and then down on Apple, up on Google pretty small, and then Disney is PL1 right here today. So I think those are really, look at Disney go right now. You want to talk about that. This is like a day saver for me, to be honest with you, for Disney. Without this play, you know, we would almost have literally nothing today. So 2 and 3, a pretty decently red day because of Palantir. But like I said, man, many symbols traded and not a lot right now today. 63.8 coming into play again for Bitcoin. Yeah. Neil, these days happen, man, where we can't find too many winners, but we keep it in the pocket.
That's what I said, keep it in the pocket. There's going to be other opportunities. NVIDIA could trend up. We've seen NVIDIA do this before, and when it trends up, there's always a shot. In NVIDIA, before we get out of here, I wanted to remind everybody, I haven't traded Mara, and I know it's down, but if this starts to go and gets above VWAP, they are being added, and I'll double check the number in a quick second. I think it was... about net expectation of 31 million shares to buy. It doesn't mean it's going to come out 31 million shares to buy at the close. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but there is a potential for an imbalanced trade on Mara today. And if it gets above VWAP and starts trending, I'm going to look to join that trend at some point. I just want to see the selling stop on Mara. That's specific to Mara. It has absolutely nothing to do with crypto or anything along those lines. But yeah, it's a pretty large addition to the S&P 600. It doesn't happen every single day. You might see me in Mara at lunch if it gets above VWAP. Disney's okay. Palantir is still mini uptrend in Palantir, and Renata Haddad saying, come on, Palantir. This is the thing with Palantir. We're now getting excited for it doing this, you know, which that's how weak it's been. Like, this is the mini uptrend. It's a higher low. But come on, you got to break this 2160 wall and get into the 70s, then get into VWAP. That's what has to happen here for Palantir. And for me, so I'm just trying to get back to flat on the stock. You know, that'll be the goal. Like when you go 1 for 5 on it, like I can go 1 for 3 and be green, but like 1 for 5, and then go to 2 for 6. You're just trying to get back flat on the stock. Palantir down 14%. Let's get that VWAP retrace. I'm not Mr. Long Shorts. I mean, it's up to you how you want to look at it. I just like Mara. I'm not trying to pick a bottom on this stock. I'm just looking for a hold of VWAP and a trend to the upside to play in the afternoon. It's not a I'm going long and holding it forever situation.
All right, we're back long Palantir right now. And again, guys, thank you so much for everything. But honestly, here we go. Let's go with the thing that everyone's really here for, and that is, especially on a day like today, where winners have been light. Let's find out what's for lunch. All right. And again, yeah, thank you so much for everybody subscribing and subscribing and subscribing. All right, we hit 450, didn't we? We had that graphic going for a while.
Over the weekend.
We should show what we're at. All right, so right here, sesame and poppy seed crusted salmon fillet. So again, on a day where there's been no chicken dinner winners, although we got Disney. Disney's now 35 cents. Google's now $1 in the money. So we do have a couple plays for you. We'll go 2 for 3 here, but Palantir's starting to fall back a little bit. It's sesame and poppy seed crusted salmon fillet with steamed new potatoes, steamed broccoli, with a lemony is how it's described, hollandaise sauce for me on that one. So I don't know. I do like to steam new potatoes.
Well, I've talked to you about my sauces and what I do like. I'm not a big hollandaise sauce guy. So it's just not going to happen.
Smaller, like without the, so new potatoes are going to be generally, they're smaller and they won't have the skin. You could just cook them basically without, kind of like those small little roasted potatoes.
As long as they don't put them on our salad, which
they will. That'll be tomorrow on your salad.
No, well, exactly. No, seriously, we'll actually have the potatoes on our salad tomorrow. I'm kind of hoping for, yesterday we said we'd get egg salad. We actually just got an egg.
What was it?
It was actually a hard-boiled egg on it. So tuna I'm hoping for today, although, check that. I'm probably having tuna sandwiches for dinner tonight because we're doubling it up. Somehow have baseball and swimming tonight, but we'll see how that goes. We'll probably have to have Subway for dinner because we don't have time to make anything. It's 11. Mara is now at VWAP, so I'm going to look for the consolidation long off VWAP for Mara. It just got there. Let's go. Sharif back in the building.
Yes,
a big shout out and a big thanks to Obi for filling in for Sharif yesterday.
Yes. What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That right there is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif. And, as we typically do around here, we're going to wait for the migrants to come on over.